Good afternoon. I'm Dom.
I am Jamie.
And welcome back to the Cutting Room Floor Pride Month edition. I know we were supposed to do Weekend at Bernie's, but Jamie had a great idea to do a film he had not never even fucking heard of. C.O.G. Which we'll get into what that means later.
Yes.
But this film here, it was very good, and I was very shocked. But funny story, real quick before we get into it. So he was in Frozen. All right, he plays Sven or voices Sven. Yeah. Excuse me. This dude is from our area. All right, and I met this dude probably about a decade ago, and he came into my place of business with his mother, who's a teacher at his alma mater, which Jamie here went to.
Yes.
You know,
I graduated like 7 years before him.
Yeah, but it don't matter. Yeah. Y'all went there. You know, y'all walked on the same grounds. Y'all probably shook some of the same hands. But he came in here because his mother taught one of my employees. And, you know, he gave me a look. He checked me out real hard. He was very, very sweet. He was a very nice guy. Really humble, really nice dude, you know. Really cool. But I thought that was funny because I'm watching this film and I'm like, this guy looks familiar, but not why he would normally look familiar. Like I've seen him in something else. No, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this dude in person. And then it clicked once I started, you know, looking into things. But that was a funny story. But this film, C.O.G. 2013, directed by, what was his name again? Alexander something?
Kyle Alvarez.
Yep, yes. A lot of names. Kyle. Yeah. So it was directed by Kyle Alexander Alvarez, who wrote this, produced it. He did everything. Yeah, he did everything. So he what he did was he adapted this from what's the name of the story?
C.O.G.
No, isn't it a short story in a book though?
Oh, yeah, the book is Naked.
Naked.
And it's a collection of short stories, but the short story is actually C.O.G.
It's C.O.G., yes. Yeah, so it's in Naked if you guys wanted to actually
by David Sedaris.
By David Sedaris. So,
yeah.
This, I didn't read the short story, but our fella Jamie here did.
Long time.
Long time ago.
Like Tupac in Dave Chappelle sketch long time ago.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is the book.
Oh wow, all right, some shorts. Oh yeah. Oh nice.
And then it's hold on. I started to reread it, but you know, being the way that I am, I start to doze off lately when I read. 153 in the book Naked is where C.O.G. starts for any aficionado.
There y'all are, so you can read up on that. So like I said, I like this film. I'm gonna give you guys some stats though, because the stats kind of blew me away after I watched the film. Rotten Tomatoes 69%, which no
one 69's in the movie.
No one does, you know,
and that just kind of sucks.
Somebody wanted to, but
yes,
but 60. But that's a pretty. It's not a bad score. It's fresh, but it's close to rotten, and
I would think.
Yeah. IMDb 5.8, which is low, man. I just didn't get that. And this is the biggest slapper to me. Letterboxd 2.8. I didn't get it. I'll tell you what I gave this film on Letterboxd at the end, but I was very shocked after I watched the film, and I just really didn't understand what people didn't like about it, what they didn't get.
Yeah, like I'm looking at what you put.
Yeah, see, I gave it a score, you know.
Yeah,
So,
and that's saying a lot because I know what you said. You the first, let's say, like 15 minutes, you're like,
yeah, I was a little, the beginning, I was a little, I was just like, like I said, it was the language I was hearing.
Yeah.
Wasn't a problem. It was just abrupt and strange.
Oh yeah, because that's how it starts.
Yeah, it starts just like that. Yeah. But this movie's a tight hour and 28 minutes, and it's perfect length. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It needs that weird.
That's what every guy likes to hear.
Yeah, that is what they.
No matter if it's true or not.
Yep, that's exactly what they hear. But it definitely you need that awkwardness in the beginning to set up what comes later.
Yeah, and I think to show where the character David or Samuel, because he goes by Samuel to kind of, I think, distance himself
from his old life.
Yeah, from his old life to try to have this new experience be something new.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you do need that shock to the system in the very beginning, so the viewer knows like what he's going through. So you're just as jolted as he is.
Yes,
because this woman is just saying these terrible things to him out of nowhere on this bus.
I was like,
and I believe it takes place. Even if the film takes place in 2013, like the story would have taken place in the 80s.
I was like, yeah, this is definitely back in the day.
Yeah.
I was like, this is definitely not modern day. I was like, no one has cell phones or nothing like that. So, or did he have a? Yeah,
he talked about his cell phone at one point when they're in the diner with the girl who's supposed to be there with him. About a phone.
I don't know. It could have been like maybe early 2000s, but it felt. At least the town he's in feels dated.
That's the only thing that seemed modern. Yeah,
because none of the cars were new.
No,
like all the cars look like
everyone dressed
cars.
like
everyone dressed old school.
Yeah.
Like everything felt old school. Like there was everything.
Yeah.
Nothing felt modern. But you got to keep in mind a lot of these smaller towns don't catch up. Right away. So,
and unless like Amazon comes in or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest service they using, like,
because like if they build like a big factory, then suddenly everyone has money.
Yep.
And then money gets poured into that area, whatever it is, and they kind of update everything.
Update a little bit, yeah.
Like Walmart's probably like the biggest thing in the town.
That's the talk of the town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and there's like abandoned places in here.
Yeah, there's
so like industry and mom and pop businesses are leaving at this time, and they're
So it could be like mid to early 2010s,
maybe,
or sorry, mid 2000s to early 2010s.
Yeah,
even maybe like 04 or 05.
Because even though the original story would have taken place,
that would have been the 80s, right?
Yeah, probably the 80s or 90s. Because David Sedaris has got to be in his 60s now. Because Amy is. So, like, if he was in his early 20s.
Yeah, because he said he had already finished grad school.
Yeah.
So he would have been at least 24.
Yeah, maybe 26 at the most.
Yeah, I was like.
So, probably, like, whatever age Jonathon Groff was filming it is the age of the character.
Yeah. What is he, 40? He probably would have been like, like 27 or 8, maybe. Yeah, so he's probably, like, around that age. Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, so this probably takes place in, like, if he's 60s, probably like the late 80s, early 90s for him.
Yeah.
So maybe he wanted that. Maybe the director wanted to keep that feel.
Yeah.
And kind of leave it ambiguous too, because I think that's kind of smart, because you really don't know.
Because it could be, but it could not
be. It could be, yeah. So that's actually, I didn't even really think about that.
Because him saying, I don't remember if he specifically said a cell phone or not.
He didn't say cell.
But if he said a phone, it could be a landline.
That could be yeah. I mean, but. Well, I ain't bringing a landline on a trip, so I'm guessing he meant a cell phone.
Yeah, probably. And Pedro wasn't going to have a landline.
Yeah, but the fact that this town had payphones says something too.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
Yeah, so this could be, I'm going to say the mid-2000s.
Okay.
Because that's an era where someone could have a cell phone or could not have a cell phone.
Yeah, because you still had payphones.
You still had payphones back then.
Yeah.
Shit, I used a couple. I remember in 2004 using a payphone at one point. I think I got a cell phone the same year though. But so this film, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's an art house film, it's an indie-ass film.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely not for your average film watcher, but
is that why you loved it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, shit, I don't like all the little indie art house. Some of that should be trash. I'm like, this is just, he just thought he was artsy fartsy and it didn't work. But
it was more fartsy than artsy.
It was more fartsy than artsy. It stunk up the place, but I love my art house shit, though. I love my indie shit. I'm an indie guy. That's just always been me. But I'm also a Blockbuster dude. I'm also a I watch whatever.
Your Hollywood Video, your Blockbuster.
Blockbuster, yep. I'm fucking Family Video, if you remember that. Or that might have been a Midwestern thing.
What, was there a video store in like Thorndale or Downingtown, like a small video store when you were there?
There was Hollywood, Blockbuster. There might have been one.
Because Further Shine, we talked about it earlier, because I remember going to
What year, though?
Oh, this would have been like in the 80s. I don't know if it was still there when you were around. I don't know. I didn't know if it survived that long.
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm sure Blockbuster in Hollywood probably killed them a little bit.
They killed the mom and pop
Yep, they
video
killed
stores.
the mom and pop, and then streaming killed them. They said, fuck you. But so this film here, though, as Art House as it is, I think its message is crystal clear.
Oh, yeah.
I think it says everything about society back then and even to today. This film is just as, it's maybe even more relevant in 2013 or 2025 than it is in 2013.
I think so.
Just because of the climate of the world right now?
Yes. And the way that, like, I hate to say, like, certain projects that might have the year we're in behind them. Yes. I think that's what makes it kind of relevant. That type of thinking and the way that people are judged based on someone else's idea of morals.
Yes.
But they don't live that.
Yep.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yes.
Because what I think this film what makes this film so good, what knocks it out of the park, is one, the performances of the three main men you see in here between David, Curly, and John. Absolutely dynamite performances. That, with the movie, does an incredible job of really trying to trick you into making you think something is happening. And it slowly layers itself back down to show you, no. Don't you ever for a second think that something good was going to come from this.
Yeah.
Because this movie put a really good mask on. And in today's society, we're seeing a lot of masks come off. And masks today can be in the form of a certain colored hat. And I'm not talking a white sheet. That's not what I'm talking about.
Just remember, you can't spell hatred without red hat.
Yeah. I never heard that, but goddamn. That's true. Actually insane. That's really insane. But yeah, masks are different now. And you know, I'm not a crazy political dude, but I mean, I think anyone who has eyes and ears knows we're in a weird time right now.
Yeah.
And I think this movie very much reflects that and reflects the push and pull that's happening between society right now, from the left and the right, from, you know, the conservatives and the libs, whatever you want to call it, red, blue, who cares? Whatever it is, whatever your beliefs are, that's fine. You believe what you want. That's your right. But when you start imposing your beliefs on other people and trying to change things based on what you solely believe, that's when things starts to become a problem. And that's coming from any side.
Yeah.
That's not just coming from the people in charge or anything like that. That's coming from anyone, because both sides got their fucking issues, as we know. So that's why I sit myself right in the middle.
And the weird thing about all that is they're all working like for the same team at the end of the day, but they're still opposed and fighting each other. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm like,
and they all started as the same thing. It was originally the Republican Democratic Party.
We all got the same goal: to live the best life that we can.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, some people don't feel certain groups deserve that same thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're seeing measures right now being taken to really, really impose that.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that right now. But, well, you know, this is real life, and this is what is happening to us right now. And I think this movie definitely reflects the views of certain people on both sides. So let's get into what this film is about and what happened. So we got my man David. I mean, it's gonna be hard not to call him Samuel, because that's what we hear the whole time. You know, I'll call him David. You know what? On Letterboxd, his name is David, so we'll call him David. You know,
and it is about David Sedaris's experiences. So anyone who knows that it's based on one of his stories knows it's supposed to be
David.
Yeah.
So the movie kicks off right in your face. We're on a bus, like a Greyhound coach type bus.
Yes, yeah.
And
he's going cross country.
And he's talking to this young black woman, and she's having an insane conversation about
her baby dad.
Yes, I was like about reproducing and things like that. And we're not going to even get into the details of said conversation because I was very off put right away.
Yes.
Just because I was like, man, that's how we open it? I don't give it. You know me, I don't give a fuck what's in your movie. I've watched some shit where other people are like, bro, something wrong with you. But for whatever reason, that conversation just made me uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't know why. And then his next conversation made me uncomfortable. Every conversation he had made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I think you were supposed to feel the way he was feeling.
Absolutely. He was uncomfortable from start to finish.
Yeah.
And he was never comfortable. And when he thought he was, he realized that was when he was the most uncomfortable.
Yes, yes.
And so he's having conversations. He talks to a very religious ex-con on the bus. And we all know the people who run the religion the most are ex-cons and addicts. So,
yes.
Later in life, I mean, not like.
Yeah, you always find Jesus in jail. I think Dennis Miller once said, because he was talking about some famous person in jail who suddenly found Jesus, and he's like Jesus didn't see him first. And was like, can I get the fuck out of here? You know, that's my paraphrase of a Dennis Miller joke.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's having all these uncomfortable conversations. We don't know where this dude is going, but he's going somewhere. And like I said, it starts a little awkward. It's a very dark and gray movie, and that maybe turns some people off. Yeah. It's very colorless. It's very tonally flat, but I think that adds to the atmosphere. I think it adds to the movie. So he gets to Oregon, beautiful state on the West Coast.
He's in Oregon.
Yeah, beautiful state on the West.
I guess that's why
we're making the Oregon.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So for some reason, it didn't dawn on me.
Click,
I thought he was trying to do like every state.
Nah, bro. No. Just the beautiful state of Oregon. Yeah. But like I said, the shit was Oregon's much wider than the cost. Yes. I'm like, bro, it's so narrow. It looks like Ohio. Yes. It was weird. It was like narrow and taller instead of like wider. It was weird. I'm like, because like Oregon, like. It kind of has like a Pennsylvania-ish type of shape to it. Not fully, but it's that type of like sideways rectangular thing. I don't know.
And the weird thing is, Oregon's supposed to be like the most laid back.
It's so chill, right?
Yeah, that's Portland's supposed to be the most laid back city.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. I've been wanting to go to Oregon forever. My buddy went to Oregon. And he was like, dude, it's fucking awesome, bro.
One of my favorite bands is from Portland, Oregon. The Dandy Warhols.
Oh, you do love the Dandy Warhols.
Oh my god, dude! When you're skating, if you listen to 13 Tales from Urban Bohemia,
13 Tales from Urban Bohemia,
yeah, it's from 2000.
Got you.
Incredible.
Skate list right now.
Now, like they have other great songs, like off of like the Dandy Warhols "Rule OK" and some other ones like "Not If You Were the Last Junkie on Earth" is a great song.
Not If You Were the Last.
Did you ever watch Veronica Mars, the TV show? With Kristen
Bell. No, I did not. But
their theme song was a Dandy Warhol song off of like "Welcome to the Monkey House" or something. I forget what the name of the album was from '03, but that's still a great album too. But 13 Tales from Urban Bohemia is just incredible.
So that's an album, correct?
Yes, that's the name of the entire album.
Okay, I found it.
Yeah, but has like a army jacket on the cover, kind of. It looks like it with patches on it.
Found it. 2000.
Yeah, from 2000. Yeah.
Gotcha. The same disc?
Wow, that must be an anniversary edition.
Oh, okay, well.
That's awesome.
What's your favorite song on here? Bohemian Like You?
Bohemian Like You is incredible. There's so many great songs, but like Big Indian is a great song.
Okay.
It's like towards the end of the album.
It's track 12.
But like if you listen to every song, it's almost like a concept album. And it takes you through this whole vibe of society at that time. It came out the same year as Rated R by Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay.
Which is a stellar album.
I love that album.
Those are my two favorite albums of 2000.
2000?
Yeah.
Okay, bet. All right, bet.
Yeah. I got and you obviously know Rated R.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fire. Incredible. I mean, feel good hit of the summer, right?
Hell yeah. Bro, that was back in middle school. Shit. All right. So, anywho,
Yeah. So Oregon is supposed to be really laid back.
To be late. Yeah.
So that's probably why he's going there.
Yeah. And, now
because he's discovering who he is as a person after college.
Yep. And he's probably like, you know what? Oregon will accept people like me, because we find out through just conversations, his mom obviously cut him off because he's gay. That's what it seems like. That's the assumption. That's what it seems like.
And obviously his dad would have. Oh, yeah. They don't really talk about it, but he talks about how he thought his mom would be more
accepting. Yeah, she's supposed to be lib. Yeah. He was like, she's supposed to be super lib or whatever.
Yes.
And obviously he comes from money. Dude went to Yale.
Yeah.
And went to grad school at Yale. And graduated and studied abroad in Japan.
Oh,
dude, he has fucking money.
And
he ain't broke.
And those ladies call him like Einstein.
They call him Einstein, yeah.
Yeah, when you've been into that apple.
I just And she said, it's got pesticides on it. Yo, he threw up so much. I was like, bro, that was like, you took the smallest bite and like, you just yacked, bro. But
right on her.
Right on her. So this man gets to Oregon. And now the plan was, we find out later that he was supposed to go with his girlfriend, his female friend. Not girlfriend.
His friend who happens to be a girl.
Happens to be a female. This man is very gay. I don't want to say very gay, because he's one of those gay guys. Like, when I look at him, I'm like, I can tell you're gay. But if you said you fuck women, I wouldn't be shocked either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he might just be preppy.
Yes. In that movie, they did a good job of making him just look like an outsider. Not necessarily a gay guy. Now, other gay guys are gonna know because they can smell their own, but I mean, you know how it is, bro. Like, people know their own kind. It's just like addicts. Addicts know other addicts. Yeah, you know what I mean. Same thing. Yeah. So, not comparing the two, you know what I mean. But they're not addicted.
Unless someone's named Ted, and they want addicted. I think there might be a comment in there.
It might be a comment in there. Yeah, it might be a comment there. Unless, they want to hang out with a man named Richard.
Yeah. But, well, I guess that could be. It could be Richard and Theodore.
Richard and Teddy. There you go. But, so he gets there, and his homegirl blows him off. Yeah. She meets some guy who has a car, and she forces this motherfucker to ride Coach Bush. First of all, me and her wouldn't be friends anymore.
Yes, not at all.
Right? Don't call me. Don't come look for me. As soon as she came to the farm, I would be like, I bet you might as well go ahead on with that dude. And she knew he was right when he said, after 2 years, he's going to drop your ass and you'll be coming right back to me. Something best thing that ever happened to you. And I'm like, yeah, he's arrogant, cocky, and he's kind of an asshole, but he's right about a lot of things.
Yes.
So, like, that's where, like, because I clearly, all right, let me just get in the story. So when he gets there, he goes to an apple farm. And what's the dude's name? Hoss or something like that?
It is. Dude. Yeah, it is. I know it's Dean Stockwell.
Yeah.
But what is his name? It's not like Hughes or something.
It's. I thought it started with an H.
It does.
I got you right now.
Okay.
It's Hobbs.
So Calvin and Hobbs.
There you go. Yeah. So Hobbs. He meets this old guy named Hobbs. He has a farm, an apple orchard, essentially. And he got a bunch of illegals working there.
He does.
A bunch. And his attitude towards them is very, very reflective of today and how we are living and the nation's attitude towards immigrants. But he understands one thing about immigrants that some of the people in charge don't. We fucking need them.
Yeah.
And that's talked about in this film, and I thought, wow, Jamie, did you even fucking realize how relevant you were?
No.
Yeah, so
to be honest, I was just thinking of like different pride picks. Is what I was thinking.
And this most people don't even know about this, and I'm pissed I didn't watch this like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, because I did an underrated Pride Month movies.
You did, yes.
Yeah, and this would have made the list without question. Yeah. But unfortunately, I didn't see it.
Now it probably would have been number one on your list.
Shit, it might have. Next year, I'm gonna make a new underrated Pride Month movies because I've already watched a bunch of great ones this month. So, and I'm watching one tonight on Netflix. New. It's called Latin Blood. It's supposed to be really good. It's a biopic.
No, really?
It's about some Latin artists. It's supposed to be great. So I'm excited for it. But anywho, so this man gets on his farm and we hear Hobbs talking about these illegals, and I'll move on quicker with the story after this, but this is important, I think. He says, all you get here in this area, in this town, is trash and illegals. But I'd take the illegals over the trash any day.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a powerful line because even though they're illegal, even though he looks down on them, because he clearly does, he treats them like shit.
Yeah.
He talks to them, however, and he don't. I mean, but in his defense, he treats Sam or David like shit too.
He does.
Like so. He don't.
But
he's fair that way. But because David is white, David is getting afforded opportunities that those illegals would not.
Yes.
Like going to the plant to work.
Yes. And living in that trailer.
And living in the trailer, getting your own space.
Yeah.
So these guys live in the barn, basically in like bunk beds on top of hay.
Yeah.
Like real shit. And like they eat slop every night. And I'm looking at how these people are living because I'm going to be honest, I'm ignorant to how illegals live and how they live on farms and what they do for work. And I'm finding this stuff out as things are coming out. And I'm realizing, you know, these motherfuckers are some of the most resilient people you're ever going to meet. And I'm like, I ain't going to do that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's why they're here, because we won't do it.
I ain't doing that.
I mean, I hate to point that out because some people, you know, well, they're taking our jobs. No, they're taking jobs you don't want. So they're actually just working and getting jobs.
He wasn't paying them shit.
No, not at all.
That guy Hobbs was not paying them shit, bro. Them dudes, I'm like, so what? They just live in this barn and just stack up the little bit of bullshit money they make until they make enough to afford to get a ride to LA and hopefully get some better paying work.
That's what Pedro ended up doing, right?
Which is what Pedro did. Yeah. Pedro probably had to work there for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer before he had enough money just to get a ride to LA. Like,
yeah.
Because what was he giving him? $20 a day or something?
Crazy.
It was $40 a barrel. Yeah. Which, I mean, dude, how many apples can you pick in one day? You know?
And also you got to discern, like it says when he's at the factory, it's like fancy or super fancy.
Yeah. How do you know the difference?
Yeah. So like, how do you know the difference between like a good apple or a bad apple?
Bad apple. Yeah, but one bad apple spoils a bunch. Like you said.
Yeah. But it's like, how do you know?
How do you know? I'm like, just like him. I was curious. I was like, man, some of them apples look fucking good.
Yeah,
I was like,
I do love a good apple.
I love a good apple, man.
Especially like the green.
Yes. Apples. Oh man, I love the little sour, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Obviously I eat fruit. But
hey,
for Pride Month.
That's right. That's right.
You see the treatment and how these people, although yes, David was one of them.
Yeah, he was.
But you speak English.
Because when Pedro left, like there was tension there at 1st. Mm-hmm. When Pedro left, he's like him like he's his bro. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was like, damn, Pedro bouncing. I thought Pedro was going to be a part of the movie, actually.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, Pedro's a cool dude. Hopefully these guys, you know.
Because he kind of took him under his wing. And, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just realized, like, he did get that emotional attachment because they were both treated like shit. They were the same at that point.
They were the same. They both were eating slop, sleeping in a barn.
Yeah.
Y'all had the same rights and privileges. But of course, David speaks English and he's white.
Yeah.
So and he can be a tax paying guy.
Yeah.
So he can move up. So he had privileges these guys don't.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you see that in real time. But we all know all those guys are probably way more qualified for the job than David.
Yeah, because
David kind of sucked.
Yeah, he did. He did, because he's like, how can you tell? Like, Pedro would know.
Yeah, Pedro would be like, bro, this is so easy. Like, it's crazy to see it in real time like that. And I'm like, I think this movie accurately, I'm guessing this is what it's like.
Yeah.
And which is what made me kind of think the guy the story's based off of, or who wrote it, possibly did some of this shit. Because I'm like, how would you know unless you've been there? You know?
And honestly, obviously, David Sedaris, it seems like it's a part of his life. Mm-hmm. But also the guy who wrote and directed the film, like adapted it and produced it, his last name is Alvarez.
Yes. So he got somebody in his family.
Yes. So there's like, it seems like there's almost like 2 layers of authenticity to it.
One from the migrant side, and one from the side of the white dude. Yeah. So, because this movie is, the first half is about fucking apples.
It is. Yes, it is. You're right.
Apples for real. So, like you said, homeboy, Pedro, he goes to LA to find better opportunities, and of course, Hobbs is an asshole. He's like, well, he ain't going to make it there. He's going to end up right back somewhere like here. He's not, he has no faith. And Hobbs is like, all right, look, Clifford died. And he's like, the dog?
Yeah.
Like, that was one of my favorite. That's the only thing about this movie. This movie is funny as fuck in the most subtle way.
Yes.
Like, it's funny and you don't even realize. By the end, I was like, yo, I laughed a lot more than I think I actually realized while I was watching it. Because I was I was overlooking the quotes, and I was like, yo, that shit was funny.
Yeah. Well, his delivery too, like
super dry and sarcastic, which is
great.
And
if you ever listen to David Sedaris, because he usually does like his own audiobooks, like his voice, he might have a little more of an affectation than Jonathon Groff, but it's just as dry.
Yeah, because like we said, Jonathon Groff, he could be straight passing.
Yeah, he could be. Yes.
It's different from white passing, but he could be straight passing.
Yeah, he could be. Yeah.
So, because like I said, he could just be like, oh, he's just a dorky dude, But it don't necessarily mean he's gay. So Hobbs is like, listen, bro, there's an opening up at the plant, where they actually process the apples. So clearly, you see the chains of the agricultural labor. You see the apples being grown, the apples being picked, the apples being transported, the apples being processed, and making it to our shelves.
Yeah.
So I thought that was also very cool because I'm very interested in farming. Not that I want to be a fucking farmer.
Yeah, but what goes into
it? Because I'm like, they're the backbone of our country.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really realize that who live in bigger cities, and because we see it in our area.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. But also these like in bigger cities, they have like farm to table restaurants now.
Do they really?
Yeah, like in DC, I went to one before.
How was it?
It wasn't bad.
Like,
it's different because it's like more like I'd say like more natural
home
stuff.
Style.
Yeah,
like you feel like you whip some up the house.
And it was crazy because Felicia had to point this out to me because it was my friend Chris and his wife and his daughter because he works in DC and he was in town, and we're at this place. We're sitting there, and Frills was like, "Look at that!" They had a big like statue in the restaurant, and it was a huge pink beaver. And I was like, "Why did you have to point that out to me,
really funny.
And not me notice that myself?"
Right? That's insane, bro.
Why did you not notice? Do they have a pink beaver?
Hey, they know.
Yeah. Their food was great and their desserts were all homemade and incredible. Like all the ice cream and everything. Man. But it's interesting then to see a film like this and to see what goes into like getting it from like the ground or from the tree.
Yep.
Like to that table.
It really is cool.
That's been a trend, I guess, the past like decade or so is farm to table stuff.
I've never been to farm to table, but
it's
funny because like we live in our area, so we see a lot of farmland, but
we don't smell a lot of farmland.
Oh my god, last night was absolutely insane.
Yeah,
but like it's crazy but we also don't live far from metropolitan areas. Like I'm in Philly, every other weekend.
Yeah.
So. Like I was in Philly this past weekend, and I ain't see no farms, no corn. I'm downtown skating, and it's hot as fuck. I see kids busting fire hydrants open, and an hour later, I'm looking at corn. So it's like, it's weird. So for me, it's funny to be right in between. But I thought that was a cool aspect. Well, David gets to the plant and he gets upgraded. He gets a trailer of his own while all the other illegals got to live in the barn.
Yeah.
So he's...
because Clifford is actually Hobbs' son who died.
So he's basically...
He wasn't the dog.
He wasn't the dog.
Yeah.
So you're replacing Hobbs' son. And Hobbs seemed to not give a fuck that Clifford died.
No, not
He really did. He wasn't sad or nothing.
No.
Like, he was just like, man, work got to still get done.
Because I think he said something about Clifford being like pretty much like a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
So it's like Hobbs, whether he did any of this work at first or not,
he definitely was in the field.
He built up the business.
He built the business.
So his son probably was able to be like lazy.
Leech off of him. Yep. Yeah. I'm sure Hobbs was in the field. Listen, he had to plant. He probably planted the first seed.
Yeah, he's Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah, like literally Johnny Appleseed. He planted the first seed. So, yes, Hobbs probably has earned the right to sit back now and cash in. But you gotta be, unfortunately, he can treat these people this way. And it's sad, but he can't treat David that way.
No,
because David,
he knows
better. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. David can easily be like, "Motherfucker, I can make a couple phone calls."
Yeah,
and your Apple shit will be real fucked
especially
up.
because he keeps wearing that Yale sweater,
that Yale hoodie. Yeah.
So it's like I think people know or are supposed to know.
He's educated, even though most of them probably don't even know what the hell Yale is.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is a small town. The population of this town is probably 8,000 to 15,000.
Yeah,
seriously, if that. I've seen small towns like this. I've been through it, and it's like that. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows everyone's business. You know, everyone knows everyone. So.
It's like something Curly says later.
Yes.
If you want to find...
If you want to... Yep. It ain't hard to find a... We'll spit the line when we get there. But, so David gets to work at the plant, and he's working with all the hens, as they call them.
Yes.
And the hens... And this is what, for me, this is when the movie really starts to get good. And the hens... They're these older... small town gals, but it's a diverse group of small town gals. You have like a Spanish girl, black girl, white chick,
and you have like the great Dale Dickey.
Yes, Dale Dickey is a great actress.
Yes, she is.
She really is. I'm like, she's good in everything she's in. She was funny, and she can always scream and freak out so well.
Yeah,
because you know she's kind of the one training David, and they're picking out the apples out the little water thing as you see him come through. And David's curiosity gets the best of him because I wanted to try one too.
Yeah.
And he bites one of these fucking things and he fucking basically pukes it up all over Dale Dickey. And she's like, oh, and it's real gross too. I'm like, man. Yeah. I'm like, that must have made him throw up his lunch too. Because I was like, there was a lot coming out. Because, and she's like, motherfucker, there's pesticides. I'm like, oh my God, bro. So they're like, yeah, this guy's dumb. And so he's eating lunch with them, and they're all talking, and he's trying to tell them about, you know, some of his endeavors.
Yeah, has anyone ever been to Japan?
Yeah, because they talk about
she's like,
the union rep is Japanese.
I'll kick their asses all in Japan.
It was kind of had a racial undertone to it. You know, kick his ass all the way back to Japan, and she was like, the one black chick was being racist. She was like, oh, she was like, can you say that in Jap? And I'm like, come on, man. Y'all acting a fool out here. I was like, come on, man. I was like, you've been in this little town too long. But I'm like, shit. So, you know, they were being racist. And he's basically like, look, I've been in Japan. I fuck with their people, their culture. I speak the language.
It's a beautiful place.
Beautiful place. And they're like, it's so beautiful. Go, I don't know, you go there.
Yeah.
Like, and a guy walks in, an older gentleman with he's losing his hair a little bit, and but because he looked older than he was in the film. Yeah. When I was recasting, I was like, oh, I'm guessing we're going 40s. And I was like, this dude was only like 37 or 8.
Was he?
Yeah. He was like
Corey Stahl. Oh my God.
He's only like 49 now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
really?
I was like, he was in his 30s.
He was like pushing 60.
He was in his 30s in this.
Oh my God.
He looked old. I was like, man.
He looked old in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm like, he looked old. So I was like, man, I was recast. I was like, I guess I could get someone older.
God, so he was late 30s. He's younger than Paul Rudd.
He was younger than Paul Rudd.
Oh
yes, he was younger than Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd definitely now looks younger than he did back then.
Yeah.
Like, shit.
My God.
But yeah, Corey Stahl, Curly comes through and he sees them having lunch and he hears them and he's like, bro, come sit with me. Like, I knew you were different. And he can see right away that this kid's smart and, you know, but he also knows who he really is.
Yes.
A homosexual man. And because Curly himself is homosexual.
Yes.
But he's a different kind of homosexual. He's you wouldn't know he was gay if you just met him on the street. And that's because obviously
you see him sitting on a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
It's because it looks like he might be able to.
Yeah, he might.
Based on toys.
Yeah. I was like, Jesus. So he's like, oh, those are the new shelves you put in.
Are those custom shelves?
Custom shelves, yeah. He said, come in my room. I want to show you something. I was like, oh, this is about to start. He about to start getting weird. I was like, I was like, dude, Dave is definitely not attracted to Curly. I was
No,
like,
not at all.
He just thought he found a friend.
Yeah.
So I was like, he's like, great. Because I know Dave knew Curly was gay, but I also think Dave didn't think he was attracted to him.
Yeah.
So, because he didn't come off like that.
Yeah.
He came off he was a wolf in sheep's clothing for real. Because he's like, he got him a promotion.
Yeah.
He got him away from the hens. And
yeah, that's right.
yeah. So I didn't get you that promotion for nothing. Like,
yeah.
Like, my friend, I asked you for that. I'll go back to the hen house.
Yeah.
Shit, at least they ain't fucking trying. You know what I mean? Shoot.
That's the legal definition of sexual harassment.
Yeah. So Curly and David become friends, and it's Thanksgiving, and they're working together, and
David's like, hey, let's get a drink.
Let's get a drink. And or Curly's like, let's get a drink. Or David, David,
yeah. Curly's
like,
dude, it's Thanksgiving,
bro. What the hell? And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. So they get a drink or whatever, and they go back to David's house.
Curly's house.
Curly's house to hang out. And
Curly's mom is
Curly's mom is
special.
She's special, something.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we're like, right away, I was like, I don't like this. As soon as he walked in the house, I wasn't feeling it.
Because in my mind, he's like a 50-year-old dude.
Yeah.
We know he's not.
We know he's not, but I feel like he was supposed to be
older.
Like in mid-40s.
Yeah.
Like, you know
and he's still living with his mom.
I feel like it's one of those situations, though, where he's probably taking care of it.
Yeah, he's the caregiver.
Because, like, she clearly needs him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she would have been fit to live by herself.
And it's probably cheaper than, like, putting her in a home.
Put her in a home, yeah. It's like, because he's probably paying the bills in the house.
Oh, yeah,
Because, like, he seemed like he was pretty high up at the factory, so he obviously had enough pull.
To him.
Yeah, they did, and he obviously had enough pull to get him a promotion too.
Yeah.
So he's probably actually making decent money. So, but Curly's got his own agenda, of course, and I was really hoping it wasn't going to go there, but in my head, I knew it was, but I was hoping it wasn't. And Curly invites David into his room and shows him a collection of toys that I don't want to get into. And you can guess what kind of toys we're talking about.
They look like billionaire rockets.
There you go. I wasn't talking about the Batman collectibles.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about that Spider-Man toy. These Hellboy toys.
No.
Not the Popeye toy.
Yeah.
None of that. But that dude definitely wanted to eat some spinach. So David right away is like, oh my God.
Yeah. And he says that thing about the shelves.
Yes.
To kind of deflect.
He's like, oh, those new shelves you put in. He's like, the toy's silly. And right at that moment, Curly went from a normal semen dude to gay as hell.
Yeah.
He just got gay real fast.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, he's like, oh, he says some uncomfortable shit, bro.
Yeah,
he's like, what do you say? You're just a little boy and little boys want to play or something like that.
Yeah.
I got it in quotes. I was like, my face was like, because I knew it'd be one thing if David wanted it. That's fine.
Yeah, it would be different.
When shit's consensual, I don't give a fuck. David's of age, you're of age. Y'all both want it, go for it.
Yeah.
But clearly, David was very uncomfortable, and Curly knew this. He was doing everything to deflect because Curly was ready to pull this man's pants down and take him in. Orally. I was like, and
he wanted to do an oral report.
He did want to do an oral report. This was an oral examination.
Yeah.
I think David was a virgin. I don't think David's ever been with a guy.
He does say later on that he's not.
He says he's not.
He says he's not.
But
he also says that he wants to get married to a woman.
He does. That's something I just don't believe him. But a virgin. Maybe he's fucked a girl before. Yeah, I don't know if he's ever fucked a guy, though.
Yeah, because if he's only just discovering who he is.
And it seems like he kind of was.
Yeah.
I don't think he slept with a man yet. Yeah. I don't think he has. Because I feel like just from what I've seen in other gay movies, I don't know this from my own personal experience. So any LGBT listeners out there, please throw your opinions in on this and what I'm about to say. I feel like in other movies I've seen, even in situations where the guy who is being targeted is uncomfortable, they seem to know how to navigate it a little better than he did. And he felt...
And maybe that was his whole thing the whole time was I didn't think of it that way.
Mm.
That if he's not experienced,
yes,
it's like Jimi Hendrix would ask him, "Are you experienced?" He would say no.
He would say no.
Yeah,
you know, he was not. And great fucking. Oh, God, Hendrix was a man.
He was, yeah. Although I think Clapton and Jeff Beck were better guitarists, only because they had better production values. If Hendrix would have had better production values, it'd be incredible.
I would say Clapton's definitely up there with him.
And also, Mitch Mitchell and Noel Redding sucked compared to Jimi Hendrix, whereas like in Cream, Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker were just as good at drums and bass as Eric Clapton was on guitar.
Well, yeah.
So if like Hendrix would have had like Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker with him, stratosphere.
Oh, man. Game over.
Yeah, it's just the other guys couldn't really compete with them. They were good, but they were capable.
They were capable.
But like, if you have like, let's say Clapton would have been in that room
and S tier.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah. But of course.
But yeah, Hendrix is incredible. Yeah. I just wish the production values were as good as like
Soul,
and even as good as like Led Zeppelin. Then ended up being, because obviously Jimmy Page is one of the best too.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as guys who came before him, it's like. You have Hendrix, Clapton, and Jeff Beck. They're just stellar. Those three.
Clapton's incredible.
Yeah. When Clapton was on heroin. Asterisk.
They all were.
Asterisks, yeah.
Listen, you think Hendrix would have been as good as he was if he wasn't fucked up?
No.
95% of the time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, that's where all the creativity came from.
It's from that Purple Haze.
Yeah, Purple Haze. But, so... This man's like, can I go to the bathroom? What he tells this Nick, bro? He tells this motherfucker he has crabs, dog.
Yeah, really bad crabs.
That's how you, if, bro, there is no other way someone can tell you they're not interested any more clear than them physically saying, I'm not interested, bro. That's like, that's like somebody be like, yo, I want you, but I got AIDS, just so you know. Like, well, that's fine. It's like, what? Who are you?
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to fuck you.
Yeah. It's like that senator a couple weeks ago at the town hall. We all have to die sometime.
We all gotta die sometime, right? Like, what the hell? That's something like, he said, oh, that's cool. I can just pick around. I'm like, bro, I was like, you nasty. I was like, y'all small towners, but nasty.
But in that small town, how many people were there like him?
Probably 4 or 5.
Maybe zero.
Yeah.
Could have just been
he
him.
probably had to go to Portland to get his fixes, you know what I mean? So in the city, he might have dealt with some crabs.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know. So yeah, you're right. He's probably, thank God, I can get it locally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I gotta go.
Because then he doesn't have to leave his mom for
like, Mom, I gotta go to Portland for work.
Yeah.
But so my man David's like, yo, let me just go wash up real quick. Runs in the bathroom, uses a robe, opens the window that's all old and creaky. I'm like, that shit loud.
Yeah.
Jumps out and he runs out. And then Curly comes outside like hollering for him. He's saying some real uncomfortable shit.
Yeah.
He's like, don't run away, my little boy. And all. I'm like, this makes me uncomfortable. And I'm like, ugh.
He says something later on that I thought was funny when he said it. He's like, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to steal a bathrobe in Oregon.
He does say that.
Yeah, it's like, what?
I mean, I'm like, bro, I'll pay for that thing right now. So he's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So he's like, I gotta go. I can't work at the Apple place no more. So he tells Hobbs, like, hey, bro, I got to go. I'm
going to be teaching back in my old school.
Yeah, they're begging me to come back.
Yeah.
So he goes to his trailer to get his money. He's been hiding in his cookie jar, and it's smashed open, and somebody stole it. We don't know who, but we see a moment where
his baser instincts.
Yeah, he runs in the barn and starts berating these illegals and accusing them of stealing, which I don't think it was them.
No, I don't think so. It was probably Curly.
I think it was Curly.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
I think it was Curly.
Yeah.
Yes. Because he by then he had to have some bread saved up.
Yeah.
Because he had to be getting a couple checks from the big job, and he still should have had a legal dough saved. And he wasn't really spending money either.
No, because he didn't really have
he
to.
He didn't have a car. He was getting fed pretty much wherever. So everybody who was living was rent free, so he really wasn't spending any money. He didn't have any habits. He didn't drink. He didn't smoke. So I'm like, the dude wasn't really spending any money. So he's like, well, he says some things to the illegals that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know he didn't mean them. He was just trying to hurt him because he was upset.
Because he was hurt.
He was just trying to hurt him because he was upset about what the situation was. And in his head, he's like, who the fuck else?
Yeah.
These are the only people who are here, who know where I am, who have access to my trailer.
He's not thinking of Curly.
He's not thinking of Curly knowing where to find him. Yeah, it's not hard. He knows. He already knew he worked for Hobbs. He's like, oh, Hobbs, that dude's a dick. So he knows where he lived. Yeah. He probably knows you took over Clifford's trailer.
Yeah.
So
because it's a small town.
It's a small fucking town. Yeah. So I was like, I think it's Curly robbed his ass. But yeah, so
to pay for that road,
and pay for the road, and it's very telling that it was smashed and left dead center of the floor for him to find it that way.
Yeah,
if the Mexicans stole it, they would have wanted you to find out as late as possible.
And also, since it's a cookie jar, you can just open it, and take it out. You're right; it was smashed. It was a crime of passion.
Yes, it was send a message to let you know something.
We're forensic guys.
We are, man. We real shit, bro. Just hire me, man. Listen, I'll be a great cop detective. Whatever, because I hadn't done it all. I'm like, yeah, I know.
And better to investigate.
Exactly, bro. Shit. So, one of my buddies, man, he's a cop. He was one of the biggest criminals in his area before that. And why is he so good? Because he knows how they fucking think.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, whatever. But so he runs away. He calls. Oh shit, we forgot to bring him up earlier. He calls a number he received from a very Christian man on the streets earlier in the movie.
Early, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. John, Lil John. That's what I kept calling him.
Yeah.
Lil John.
Was he the one dad in Step Brothers?
No.
Or whatever? No, that wasn't him.
No, that wasn't him.
So who is Dennis O'Hare? Because I've seen him.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Dennis O'Hare, I'm like, he's a different guy. I'm like, I like that they pick, guys you don't normally see, but you've seen before.
Yeah.
So, all right, Dennis O'Hare. So fucking. All right, so he was like in The Proposal. Oh, he's in Dallas Buyers Club. Good film.
Okay.
He's in a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Milk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's in 21 Grams. Who the fuck was he in that? He's in Half Nelson. I fucking love that movie. Who the fuck is he in that? He's in a lot of shit.
He's in a lot of stuff.
I'm like, he's in a lot. Dude, he's in Charlie Wilson's War. Like,
he's in C.O.G.
He is in C.O.G. It's his best movie. Bro, he's in Quarantine. He's in Baby Mama.
Honestly, this might be, if you're looking for a peak season.
Only reason I would say it could be because this has to be one of his bigger roles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
he was in Garden State.
Yeah, he was in Garden State.
You probably said that. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I was just like, he's in shit.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so he was on the streets and he was handing out flyers and talking to people about Jesus. And he ended up meeting David one day, and he gave David his number, and he was like, David's like, I ain't calling this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But in desperate times, he had no money, nowhere to go, and he wants to get out of town before Curly finds his ass. He calls him.
Yeah.
And Johnny comes to the rescue.
He does.
And this is where the movie really gets interesting, because like I said, this movie is about masks. In my opinion, this movie is about masks of all kinds. And I think this movie is brilliant because it shows you that everyone has a mask or can wear one. Like, Curly had a mask on. Curly was a gay man who you would think would probably be more sensitive to certain situations, but he was not. He was an asshole too.
Yeah.
Which shows you, and no matter what group you were in, there's good and bad in all of them.
Yeah.
Curly and David were in the same group. They're both LGBT guys. One's a totally different way than the other. I'd much rather hang with David than Curly, because I don't think David would try and force himself upon me.
No. Yeah, exactly.
But there's rapists and murderers and criminals, as some people say, in every fucking group, in every demographic. People just wear masks to get close to you first.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this movie shows you. Everyone wears a mask. Even David. David wears a mask as well. And
he's going by Samuel.
Yes. And he's not only is he wearing a mask, he has decorations to it as it goes along.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
Mm-hmm. And so John comes to the rescue, comes and picks him up, And he's like, listen, you can stay with Martha and her husband and me, and you can sleep on the couch.
Yeah, but he invites David without asking.
Without asking.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, oh, I'm thinking this guy's got his own place. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, this guy probably got like a little trailer somewhere with a little spare bed. Yeah. This guy can sleep. No, he brings him in his house. I'm like, is this your family? I'm like,
no,
these people don't even they don't even really know you like that.
They're just nice people.
They're nice Christians. And this dude had the nerve to say they ain't Christian because you thought, oh, mikase sukasa?
Yeah. Like they're doing you a favor.
Yeah, like sure, you can shower whenever you want, but don't bring a motherfucking stray in without talking to us. You know,
there was a point where I thought the wife was going to try to hit on David.
There was a point where I thought the wife was going to say, "David can stay, but you got to go."
Yeah,
because she liked David, obviously.
Yeah.
Martha liked David, but she clearly She tolerated John. The husband ain't like John.
Not at all.
He was like, I'm sick of this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But she tolerated John and, tried to be as Christian as she could with John, but John was a lot. And John comes off, right away you can tell John is one of those people who believes in extreme things, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever he's into, it's taken to the max. And I can be like that in a way too, but not with beliefs and thought structures, more with hobbies and interests. Where this guy, ideology runs him.
Yes.
And
you can tell because he's ex-military.
He's ex-military, regime, structure, core. And now he's a super Christian, regime, structure, core.
Yeah.
And we're all under the guise of God. And we have this umbrella here to shield us from the rain of all these things that we are told are bad and that we shouldn't take into our lives. But John accepts David, even though I do believe that John does know who David is.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to believe it.
He probably thinks that he can. Yeah,
I can pray away the gay.
Yeah,
and I mean that's what they say. So that's what I think. I think he's like, I can pray away the gay. I can change this guy, and I can make him see the light. Because I think people like John believe that being gay is a choice.
And I don't know if I said this before. I might have, but proof that prayer doesn't work. Donald Trump is still president.
Man.
It's still alive. So obviously the thoughts and prayers of a lot of people don't work.
Me and your daughter had an interesting conversation about religion versus Trump. And I was like, dude, Donald Trump got people believing in heaven and hell because they're like, there's no way this guy ain't going.
Yeah. And believe it or not, she told me that yesterday.
Yeah. And I was like, and she's like, it actually makes me believe a lot less because she's like, if there was a fucking God, there's no way she'd let this be like and I was like, that's funny as hell.
It's true.
But I'm like, God damn.
If it's the God that you believe in, right, then yes. If God is love, as they say in C.O.G.
Yep.
If God is love, then you're right. Then what the hell are we going? Why are we going through this?
Yep.
This isn't love, God.
It's nutty, bro. It's nutty. But they all say he works in mysterious ways too.
Well, that's just rational. That's it, right?
I always say that shit. I'm like, listen, don't tell me that shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just a justification.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I'll listen to Mysterious Ways by you too because it's about a belly dance.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But I'm not gonna take that other BS.
Yeah, my man Bonnie.
Yeah.
But so John basically is like, all right, listen, dude, you're going to sleep on the couch. You're going to be my apprentice. I got this big ass fucking slab of jade, right? And we're going to fucking cut these bitches up. We're going to make clock shaped like organ.
Well, it's great because he sets it up like I'm an artist.
I'm an artist, right? And you're my apprentice.
Yeah, you're my apprentice. I'm an artist. I make stuff out of jade, and he's like, "Oh, this is incredible." What
I'm thinking he's about to make jewelry.
Yeah, or like those like elephants,
yeah, like the ones we buy at the Red Fair.
yeah.
I'm thinking some shit like that.
Yeah, and then he's like, "This," and he shows him that clock, and it's
I was like, "That's a brick with fucking arrows on it." At first, I thought it was supposed to be a weird compass.
Yeah,
and then I was like, "Bro, ain't no numbers on it. You can at least give me 12, 3, 6, and 9, bro." Like,
look,
what the hell?
If you make the hole bigger, get an erection, stick it on your junk, and lay out in the sun. It's a sundial. You know what I mean?
Real shit.
Like seriously,
follow the shadow, baby.
Yeah. What time is it? Hold on.
It was, and then it was such a bad shape of organ too. I was like, this isn't even like accurate to organ.
But he's an artist.
He is an artist, and we find out that John is being very nice at first, and he's actually quite funny.
He is.
This actor, incredible.
Yes.
He was fucking great. I was like, you're playing this role so well. I don't like you. Like, I loved you for a second, then I hated you for a second, then I loved you again. I'm like,
you can tell there's something simmering underneath.
And there's so much push-pull just within this character on his own.
Yeah.
Because this guy is a former drunk. He's got PTSD like a motherfucker from being in war. And he clearly has never checked any of his issues.
No.
Only through Christ and prayer.
Yeah. Not through like actual
medical evaluations, talks with doctors, any medication.
He's not using any of his VA benefits.
None of it. Go to the VA, bro. Go to a local VFW. Somebody will fucking talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, and you know that town got a VFW.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's the hopping in the town. That's the fucking weekend entertainment.
Yeah, that's the bar you go to.
That's the bar you go to, baby. Yeah. You know, it's members only. So he admits these things. Oh, that's one thing I'll give him. David admits these things. He's like, listen, I'm drunk.
Oh no, John.
John. Sorry, excuse me. John. John's like, I'm a drunk. He's like, everything will go good as long as I don't start drinking again.
Oh yeah.
He's like, as long as I stay sober and keep my fucking. He even says like, I got to keep my. I don't remember the exact word he used. But he essentially is like, I keep my anger under control.
Yes, yeah.
And we'll be good to go. And trust me, we see this motherfucker's angry. And I do think he was drinking throughout this whole thing.
He probably was, yeah.
Where the fuck were you at when David was getting attacked at the salon?
Yeah.
He was out late at night. Nigga, you drinking, bro. He was out drinking.
Yeah, because they were living at the salon at that point, weren't they?
I'm like, bro, where are you going this late? You ain't got no hose. You going to drink. That dude was at the VFW.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's where I think he was. So, these people are like, okay, I guess these guys are staying here. And so they deal with it for a little bit. And they really do get into this fucking shit. They're trying to sell these clocks at this fair. And they're making the shit. And he's teaching them. And David's clearly smart, so he's picking it up very quickly. But David fucks up. Martha comes downstairs, startles him a little bit. And he drops some of the jade and it breaks. And John freaks the fuck out. And Martha sees this. And she's like, you know what? This guy's got to fucking go.
And it was in front of the
kid. Yep. And that's what did it. She was like, this guy clearly can't control his temper. And she's probably like, this guy isn't getting any better. And he's hiding under this umbrella of the Lord to make people think that, to get what he wants, to use people. And he admits this later. And I'm like, man, I think, because on the surface, we're going to church. We're tying ties. We're learning to be more like in God's image. We're teaching him how to do a craft. We're sheltering him. We're eating dinner together. We're praying together. We're doing all these things that the Christian family wants you to think how it goes. And so much so to the point where David's starting to question his beliefs as an atheist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Dave, and the movie tries to put this mask, it tries to pull wool over you as a watcher's eyes to make you think maybe this isn't as bad as it is. Maybe these people accept him. But anyone with half a brain knows. I ain't gonna accept you, boy.
Yeah.
Because you like boys.
Yeah.
And it's like, and some people know it.
Yeah.
And it's very telling in a very there will be blood scene later on, which we'll talk about. But first.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought of in that scene. I was like, this director was definitely watching There Will Be Blood in that scene. But they get kicked out by Martha and the husband. And why they did it before dinner, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they literally said grace and then they did it. I'm like, why don't you let me eat first? But that was just.
Well, I guess the husband had just had enough.
Maybe, I guess.
Because, like, if the wife came to him about what had happened earlier,
he was like, "Get this motherfucker out of my house, bro."
Yeah, he's like, "This is all I can do to protect my wife and my kids."
Mm-hmm. And he's like, he's got this. I don't know if the husband knew he was gay. Probably. He's like, you got this gay kid living here. I don't want that influence on my kids.
Yeah.
You know.
And if it is the 80s, it would have been during like the AIDS scare.
Oh yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
that could have been like an underlying thing that I only just thought of.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get to that again in a minute. So they get kicked out, and he's like, "You fucking Christians, you guys aren't real Christians. Christians don't do this," and yada yada. And
he's getting emotional.
He's getting emotional.
Yeah,
he's pissed. I'm like, this dude's gonna punch this guy in the face or something.
Yeah,
and he's like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?" And he's like, "We got." Homeboys, his mom's old salon, you can go live there.
Yeah.
And he's like, a salon? That's not Christian. Christians shouldn't live in salons. I'm like, dude, listen to yourself. You sound like a fucking idiot.
You're homeless and you're bitching about where beggars can't be choosers.
Yes, that's what I was like. I'm like, God, are you listening to what you're saying? Yeah. I was like, and that's the moment where I realized, like, oh no. There's not gonna be this movie ain't going that direction. I was like, but it tried to fool me for a minute.
Yeah.
And they go to the salon. The salon's actually pretty fucking nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
I was like, let's see. I was like, I hope it ain't a shithole. I was like, it's got electricity.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of space. You guys can have your own fucking rooms.
Yeah.
Get some beds. I'm sure there's mad rooms in the back.
Yeah.
Because, they have the little rooms in the side to do other shit you don't do on the floor. I'm sure there's at least 2 spare rooms in there that y'all can each have. You got this big ass open floor for a workshop. It's actually better than the basement.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is actually an upgrade for you guys.
The worst part was probably dragging all their equipment out of the basement.
Out of the basement. That was some heavy shit, bro. Yeah. All them sanding machines and all that shit. Oh yeah. And that jade alone, that thing was probably 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I was like, that thing was fucking. That was a big slab, man. It was probably worth a good chunk of change. So I know he was pissed when he saw no clocks, bro.
Oh, God, yeah.
But we get to work, man. We're working in the workshop, and David, he asked John, hey, I'm getting good with this shit. I want to make something. He's like, well, go ahead.
I'll just use scraps.
Use scraps, yep. Yeah. He's like, go ahead, make it. And in your spare time, go ahead. And he's like, all right, cool. And he makes these little boxes.
Like
just
jewelry
boxes. Put a little shit in. But they look nice green color from the jade. And I was like, oh, it's a cute little box. I was like, I could throw some little shit in there, I guess. I don't know what I put in and everything. I have is fucking huge, but I don't wear earrings or nothing.
Yeah.
I could put my nose rings in there, I guess. But I only wear one, though. So
you could put your necklace in there.
I could, but I never take it off unless I shower.
Then you wouldn't.
Then I wouldn't. Yeah.
Only when you're showering, you put it in that
I wouldn't even do that. It would just be hard to get out for no reason.
Yeah,
I just lay it on the bed. Yeah. So I don't really take off any of my jewelry. I don't like this ring has been in for years.
Really?
Like I'll take it out and clean it every few months, but like that's it. And then I always rock on my jewelry. But so he starts making these boxes and they're cool. I'm like, oh, cute little boxes. And after a while, things are going well. It's looking pretty nice. They're going to church and everything's going well. And of course, things go bad. John leaves one night, I think, to go drink. They don't say, but it was clearly late. Yeah. It was dark as fuck outside. And it definitely wasn't winter. I don't think it was summer, but it wasn't winter. It wasn't that cold. So Curly pulls up. Somehow Curly finds him. And he's like, how'd you find me? It's not that hard to find a F-wordy little white boy. I was like,
just ask around.
Just ask around for the twinkie little. And I'm like, okay. I was like, wow. Okay. I was like, oh God. I was like, Curly. And he's like, I'm sorry, Curly. He's like, how you just run off like that? You don't leave a man out in the cold like that and all this. And I'm like, bro, who are you to have access to this young boy's body? Yeah. You didn't. He don't owe you shit. He doesn't know your fucking thing. He didn't ask you for anything. All he asked you to do was to get a drink.
That's it. And that obligation ended as soon as you left the bar.
As soon as you left the bar. Yep. Yeah. You invited him to your home. You can't have any intentions there. It's like I tell dudes, I'm like, listen, bro, when you go out with these chicks, like, if she says she come back to your house, that does not mean you about to get some pussy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't mean, you might get a kiss. You'll probably get a kiss out of it. You know what I mean? But shit. I know you're trying to get the thing wet. That might not happen that day, and you got to be accepting of that. And if it don't happen that day because she has morals, that's the chick you might want to date. Yeah. So, yeah, that's true. So I'm like, dude, that should have worked, man. You tell me no, makes me want it. You know what I mean? I'm like, ooh, I have to work for it. I'm like, ooh, you got class. I like that. So, anywho, long story short, Curly tries to assault this man physically, in a non pain.
Yeah.
You know what he tried to do? He tried to take this man's manhood, all right?
Yeah.
And
initiate him.
Yes. And as soon as he did that, he started playing with his pants. And I was like, don't you stick your disgusting thing in him unprotected. And I don't know, like you said, I don't know what you got.
Yeah.
You know, giving this little boy who maybe never even had this before, how you know he's even a bottom? Like,
yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm like, this boy's like, hold on, Curly, we like doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You gotta take turns or something.
Yeah, this might not work.
Yeah, this might not work, bro. He's like, shoot. This true. He had no lube or not.
Yeah.
Bro, you better wine and dine me. You better get the good KY if you gonna shit. You think you just gonna spit on me like I'm some cheap whore. Hell no.
Like I'm your cellmate.
Yeah, real shit. Ugh. Nasty. And I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, John, please come home. Please come home. I just wanted John to come home.
Yeah.
Because I was like, John will probably
take off his leg and beat him.
I was like, John's gonna beat this motherfucker with his leg. Yo, I was like, because I'm like, John's one of them, he's a vet. He's probably one of them old dudes who looks harmless, but probably could fuck you up.
Yeah,
And I was like, but Curly was a big dude. And I'm like, Curly ain't small, bro. This dude's probably 6'2", 3.
Yeah.
Probably 220. Like, he wasn't a small dude.
Yeah, because Corey Saul is pretty tall.
He was tall. Because our boy, he ain't that small either. Like, I met him. Like, he ain't super tall. Like, he's a little shorter than me, I think. But he's probably 5'10".
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and he was definitely, Corey Stahl was definitely.
He is 6'2".
He's 6'2". That's what I was like, Corey Stahl is definitely taller than him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's a pretty big dude. So, this ain't a dude you about to just, push to the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but my man starts praying to Jesus, and I guess it freaked him out enough, and he stopped and left. And I was like, you know what I said at that moment? I said, thank Jesus.
Oh yeah, because he's like looking at the crucifix.
Yes, and he's like,
and then he starts praying and crying.
Yep, and I guess that softened him up.
Yeah,
that would soften you up, bro.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this shit no more.
I mean, look, apparently Jesus had some hot cross buns.
He definitely had the hot cross buns, but it wasn't enough. It stopped him. Hey, and so at that moment, David's like, wow, the power of Christ might be real.
Yeah, yeah.
And he puts a mask on himself by accident.
Yeah, and this is after he accepts Jesus as his personal Lord and Savior.
I thought this was before.
No, I think it's...
Didn't this lead to him doing that?
Oh, maybe it did.
I think the next scene is that. Yes.
Okay,
I think
you're right.
Yeah.
So
that experience made him
that's why they were sitting in different spots, the family.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So after that, they're at church, and the guy giving the congregation, he's like, listen, pastor, whatever he is. He's like, listen, any of y'all, everybody's got their heads down, eyes closed. He's like, any of y'all want to accept Christ in your life? Now's the time.
They
Don't be shy.
Altar calls.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, you can holler at me after service, bro.
But the thing is, I've seen it at funerals.
Funerals.
I've seen it at funerals. I've seen
Way to take the shine from someone else.
Yeah, but it's like everyone who's here believes, or they wouldn't fucking be.
Yeah.
Why are you asking? It's because people always seem disappointed when nobody comes up.
There's gonna be one or two typically people who aren't typically here there, and them people are 9 times out of 10 gonna be like, "Oh, bro." Until you drink enough of the Kool-Aid, and you're like, it's time for me to stand up. And I guess
there's not enough church wine to make you do it.
I guess David had enough of the Kool-Aid. It was time.
Yeah, after that, because we don't know how long he'd been going.
Yeah, at this point, I'd say it's been at least a month. He said 3 weeks to the fair, so it's been at least 3-ish weeks.
Yeah.
So 2.5 to 3 weeks at this point. But I mean, he's hanging out with this dude. This dude's filling his ear with all this religious stuff, and now he feels like, yo, Christ just saved my butthole. So literally, Christ literally saved my butthole, and so he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take him into my life. Maybe this will be good for me. And of course, he raises his hand, and of course, everyone shoots up and looks. He's like, no one's gonna look. Yeah, everybody jumped up so fast, bro. And of course, John looks like a proud fucking dad and shit.
Yeah, he's crying.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my lord. And so he has this "there will be blood" type scene where he has this guy. He gets him on his knees, and this guy is telling him to do this and telling him to say that, and you're gonna marry a woman and start a family and yada yada, and he's repeating this stuff that he knows he ain't never gonna fucking do.
And then he starts crying.
Yes, because
honestly, that was crazy because I'm like, is literally crying.
He's crying right now. I was watching. I was like, yo, this kid's a good actor.
Yeah,
man.
shit. Like there's no like cuts.
It was straight. It was
emotional.
That is a long scene. That was like a good 5-minute no cut. Yeah. And in a short film. So usually, you get long takes like that in a longer film.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's crying and he's saying this stuff that at that moment, I think he believed that maybe with the power of Christ, I can fit this mold.
Yeah, because if Christ saved me when I prayed,
maybe he can save me again.
Yeah,
maybe this whole time he's questioning everything. Maybe this whole time I've been living in sin.
Yeah,
I've been living a sinful life that I didn't have to. And I'm like, bro, do not let these people pull the wool over you. Yeah, because I'm like, don't let them make you are gay. All right, you're gay, and you always gonna be gay. And yeah, ain't nothing that Bible can do to save you from that.
Yeah, and nothing's wrong with you.
And nothing exactly, ain't a damn thing wrong.
Jesus was a fisher of men.
Yeah,
the Bible says it. Jesus rode into Jerusalem on an ass.
Yep, he did. Yep,
it was Peter. I wish I had a Bible.
You rode him on the ass just to look for Peter.
One of my favorite things to ask people is, why did Jesus rename Simon?
I don't know.
And it's great because if you open up a Bible to the first book of Peter, it says First Peter, right? So you open up a Bible to that and you say, because you never forget your First Peter.
You never forget it.
Yeah, and that's like a really good visual joke, but you need a Bible for it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's why he renamed Simon, because you never forget your First Peter.
Little hand ones.
Yeah.
Those little old schools are like this big.
And people get offended, but I'm like, it's just words.
Yeah, it's words, man.
It's just words, bro. Is it real? Is it not real? Is it history? Is it not?
It's up to you.
It's
subjective. To you to believe or not. Yeah.
So either way, you never forget your First Peter.
Yep, you're right.
So
yep, for sure.
I know that's terrible.
No, it's funny.
But yeah, so he's thinking that the power of Christ compels him to be probably what his parents
wanted him. Yep.
Yeah, because they're clearly disappointed, or at least he thinks they are. It's never quite said.
It's never said, and his mom does eventually call. So I do think she was like, "Hey, I'm worried about my son."
Yeah, she
calls
looking
to make sure you're all right.
Because no matter what, it's her son. Yeah,
it's their kid.
And at that point in time, the mom is more likely to be understanding than the dad.
Yeah,
and it's usually because like what Felicia and I talk about sometime is depending on the family, if they want the family name, the family wealth to be passed on. They're like, it dies with you.
It dies with you.
And that's usually where the disappointment is. It's not necessarily in the child and their sexuality. It's in like the legacy that stops.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't think about that.
I'm like, well, unfortunately,
because they're selfish.
Other sons, then I'm sorry, but.
Yeah.
At the same time, and obviously this takes place back in the day. See, the thing with there's no excuse now, though, when we have adoption and we can act. And if you actually want some blood, you can actually get this guy's DNA. DNA.
You can spunk into a cup and do it. Yeah, you can. There are. But there was a time when you couldn't.
There's a time we couldn't. So modern medicine has made this. Has kind of X'd this out. If you got family wealth, then this is something we can do.
Yeah,
so if you ain't got shit, who gives a fuck about your name, right?
Yeah.
In the eyes of the American.
Yeah. Like it doesn't really matter, but that would explain probably like some of the reactions that you see or that you hear about from certain families.
Mm-hmm.
It's like because we're just like, why don't People are people. Who cares?
But
but that could be why it's more about like the family bullshit than it is about who that person is. It's like you need to carry on this shit. Like if it's like a family business, I think that's what we were talking about, like family businesses and stuff.
Yeah, because like we said, he clearly comes from money.
Yeah,
so that makes sense. But so it's it's showtime. It's time to go to the fair.
Oh, yeah, finally.
This is one of the best parts. Go to the fair with these heavy ass, big ass clocks because and I said it when I first saw the clock, and one of the customers points it out. I was like, that thing looks like it weighs fucking 20+ pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, that thing is huge. I'm like, bro, that thing, I'm not carrying this around all day. $100?
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, fella, for a fucking clock, I got a clock on my wrist, in my pocket.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I already have a clock. I think the one woman said.
And that's another thing that definitely dates it too, because nobody had cell phones, it feels like. It feels like everyone either had a wristwatch or didn't know what time it was at all. Because he was asking people what time it is.
Yes.
And so that was his hook. And I'm like, this is a terrible hook. But like, it's only going to work maybe once or twice. And I'm like, if that. And
kind of like when he's trying to teach David to get women. He's like, all right, salt and pepper.
Yeah, salt and pepper here. Yeah. He was like, I'm like, bro.
Ask them, is there a Miss America patch?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, these are some dated ass pickup lines. Some dated ass. I'm like, bro, we need to bring you into this, whatever decade they're in. We need to bring you in that decade because this man's moving like it's 1950s, 1960s.
Well, I feel like he was from like, I feel like he was a Vietnam vet.
He was a Vietnam vet.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, he's a Vietnam vet. So he was in war, late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know how long he was there.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he was there a while.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got a dated mind view, which I get. But if you're going to be a salesman, you have to keep up. So,
yeah.
And I'm like, that moment there already told me, because I was like, they ain't going to sell no fucking clocks. I was like, they'll probably sell some of these little fucking toy little boxes.
The little boxes that he made.
And when they started buying those, I was like, I knew they would buy these things. Because I'm like, that's the kind of shit women look for at these little things.
And Jade brings out the green-eyed monster in John.
It does. And so they're at the fair, and of course, David's little trinkets he made are selling. The thing that John told him was a waste of time, wouldn't go make no money, nothing.
Yeah.
And John is fucking seething. I sold one of your little things to some stoners. Didn't want to, but all money's the same in Christ's eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, this fucking guy.
Yeah. Like,
I was like, this fucking guy. I started laughing. So, yeah, so he don't sell one fucking clock. And John is pissed. And so they're driving back. And of course, John just lays into David about his sexuality, about wasting time and not being a good this and that. And, bro, everything you think of. And he's just taking all his frustrations about his own life out on him.
Yeah, he was because, and like you said, he was jealous that David actually, his shit sold and his didn't.
Yep, and it took a lot less work. You could use way less Jade and made a shit ton more of those things sold for $25.
Yeah.
That's a good, bro. Yeah, they could have made 200 of those.
Yeah.
And instead you made, 10 clocks, 15 clocks that didn't sell, and it took all this time when y'all could have way easier made a bunch of these little boxes.
Yeah.
You could have made them in different shapes, different sizes.
Yeah.
Like, you could have made little crosses.
Yeah.
People would like a little cross just to sit on top of your fucking dresser.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, a Jake or put a necklace. Yo, make the cross, drill a motherfucking hole at the top, and put a damn loop in it. Boom, append it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, when I saw that slab of Jade, I was like, yo, I have so many. I was like, fuck it. If I had the shape shifting or the shape sculpting skills, I'd be fucking making tons. I'd be like, I just have to, do it. Certain types of people have done. Find the talented ones and exploit their talents.
Yes,
with my ideas. You know what I mean? That's what I have to do. But yeah, so he's laying into him, and I don't want to give too much of this scene away for anyone who hasn't seen it or hasn't seen it in a while, because this scene was very, very powerful. But long story short, he kicks David out the car. And David realizes...
Apparently that's what he does.
That's what he does, yeah.
To people like David.
People like David.
He kicks them.
He kicks them out. And he kicks them to death.
Yeah.
He tells him a story. I'll say this. He tells him a story about his time at war. And one of his dying compadres, who he's been riding with this whole time, died or killed with, broke bread with, ate with, protected each other. He's dying, and his last request is for him to hold him. And who's to say that meant anything
other
sexual?
than
just like, bro, I just wanted to feel some love,
human contact. Yeah.
Like, I think he would have said it to a woman. You know what I mean? I think he would have asked for the same thing from a woman if it was a chick. I don't think. As I'm like, I don't even know if this dude was gay.
Yeah, and that's the problem with that story.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm like, is this guy even gay? I'm like, this guy might not be even gay, bro. And he's like, if you didn't think he was gay before, you think all of a sudden because he asked you to hold him, he's gay now? First of all, he didn't honor the request. His guts are hanging out.
That's literally his dying request. It's just like, human contact.
I was like,
compassion.
I'm like, from the front of the back, like, you know what I mean? I got you, dude. I ain't gay, but in that moment, I would have held that.
He didn't ask him to fuck him. Exactly. You know what I mean?
He wasn't like, will you just whip it out for me?
Yeah. So I think John, it shows his prejudice.
Prejudice, ignorance, all of
it. Everything.
And in his defense, in the time of Vietnam, I mean, that it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
Like, you and I can sit here and judge him in 2025.
Yeah.
When it's not getting drilled in our heads that these people are the devil like it was his.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving him a fucking pass.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't have kicked him to death. If anything, you should have just not honored his wish.
Yeah.
But I understand. I can see the point of view. You know, if something, it's just like people ask me, Tom, how are you such a fan of Jimmy Stewart when he was one of the most racist guys ever? Like, Jimmy Stewart was born in 1911. Yeah. All Jimmy Stewart's life, he's been told these people were bad.
Yeah.
All his life, every day, every fucking day. I'm not saying that's a pass.
When was he born?
1911.
1911. So he was 53.
50 went in the 60 civil rights movement.
Yes,
this man was well into his fucking. He was old by then. That's what this man was old. Like, look, Vertigo.
He was Mr. Hobbs by the time.
Yes, he was Mr. Hobbs by the time civil rights came out. That's what I'm like. Yeah. So
and he had vertigo.
Vertigo.
Oh goddamn! Goddamn, got vertigo.
Oh god. That's fucking hilarious.
By the way, anyone should go back and they should listen to our early Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes.
Where we talk about Vertigo.
One of the best, one of my all-time favorites. One of the best of all time. And Jimmy Stewart is incredible in it.
Yeah.
And listen, he might have been a racist dude, could act. He was good. Okay.
Well, I think people might ask you that because of, like, let's say, like, the Me Too movement. So how he was outside of his job should affect how you appreciate him
as an artist.
No, not really. I don't give a fuck how he was.
I'm like, I'd rather not think about it.
Because in my mind, George Bailey isn't racist. He'll help anybody.
Yeah, exactly. In my mind, that's how it. Yes, he's one of the nicest dudes of all time.
Yeah, George Bailey's like the man. What everyone should be.
Yes. And
look, Donna Reed is super hot.
Yeah.
So he got a hot wife.
Yeah.
And he's willing to help people.
Willing to help. And he's willing to put himself on the line for it. I'm like, this guy's a hero.
Yeah.
Is Jimmy Stewart a hero? Maybe not. But they say you should never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
So
wait, is he a war hero though?
He is.
Yeah.
He is a veteran.
So it depends on how you look at the definition of a hero.
Exactly. So he's a hero to some.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some 85-year-old dudes right now, like Jimmy Stewart, one of the best men ever walked this planet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so whatever.
People think that about John Wayne too, and it's like,
and you know I'm a huge John Wayne fan.
Yeah.
I am. I enjoy this motherfucker's films. He might have been an asshole, sure, but I will say this, and what everyone said, they're like, he was professional though at work.
Yeah.
He didn't treat. He worked with black dudes, Spanish dudes. They were like, he didn't treat them bad. He didn't, you know what I mean? They were like, he may not have, inside, he may have been like, oh, I can't stand this.
Yeah, but at least he was professional.
He was professional.
Comanche, Comanche.
Where Jimmy Stewart wasn't.
Yeah.
So that's where John Wayne beats Jimmy Stewart there.
How do you feel about Cary Grant as an actor?
Oh, he's great.
I think he's one of the best actors of all time.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he laid the fucking foundation. You see his style imitated so much.
We started to watch Bringing Up Baby.
I love that movie. Oh, Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, but it was like she just annoyed us so much.
Catherine
in that film.
I mean, she's a lot in there.
Yeah.
All her screwball comedies are like that, though.
But what I
Have you watched
realized,
Philadelphia Story?
not yet.
Oh, so good.
But
she's gonna annoy you in that too.
But what I realized watching it is like Cary Grant in that film is Clark Kent.
Yeah.
And in like other
like the buttoned up lace dorky like gee golly whiz.
Yeah.
You know?
And in other films he's Superman.
He's Superman. Like
yeah.
North by Northwest. He's Superman,
oh my god, North by Northwest. Yeah, he's so good. $15.
Yep. Dude, he's that's like a Bond blueprint movie, dude.
Yeah. Any film with him is like a Bond movie.
Yeah, like, but that one for real, because that's an action movie, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for real.
It's
like,
probably one of the best action movies
the plane
ever.
Swooping down, the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man, that shit's crazy. But yeah, so
Sorry, quick aside.
No, CG is the man, you know that. But remember we had that debate about CG and Paulie New.
Yeah, that's true.
Y'all all took CG and I took PN, and then I started hitting y'all with some shit. You're like, actually, bro, hold on.
I know, because like, we got, I will talk about it.
I'm watching a Paul Newman movie tonight. Paul Newman and Sidney Poitier, Paris Blues.
Really?
Yeah, you ever seen that?
No.
Yeah, well,
what a great pair that would be.
Yeah, hell, that's what I was like. I gotta see this.
Yeah.
They're jazz musicians in Paris, and they each meet a woman, and they have to kind of choose between the life of love or the life of luxury. So,
wow.
I'm sure it'll be a good little, fun little comedy with some music.
Yeah.
So
anything with Paul Newman, like, he has great chemistry with
everyone. That's what I was like. He's good with anyone. So
Rally Around the Flag Boys, if you haven't seen it.
Oh, so good.
Oh, you've seen it, yeah. Young Joan Collins.
Yes. I was like, shit. That's amazing.
Joanne Woodward. The guy who wrote the book that's based on is the guy who wrote Toby Gillis.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense. Toby Gillis is fun.
Because the young biker kid, and the blonde chick in that film, he was Toby Gillis in the TV show. And she was Thalia Menninger, like one of his loves in the TV show.
Okay. So there are a little crossbreed.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. But anywho, we got way off. Sorry. Talking about classic actors. But so he leaves. Yeah. And we don't know where he's going to go, but we know he got to get the fuck up out of here.
He does.
And because you got people looking for you, kind of. You got people who don't like you, even though I think Martha really grew to like him. The chick from the old house. She was probably like, if you come without John, you can come back. Oh, shit, you got the book.
Yeah, actually have the old school book, man. Rally Around the
Flag. No cover,
boys.
just yellow.
Yeah. It's no dust jacket. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
But those older books, sometimes you can't get a decent dust jacket. Because I think he wrote the script, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm like, Max Schulman. Max Schulman, another great comedy writer. Or humor writer. Like David Sedaris.
You guys, some talented fellers out there, but
yeah, you're right. Martha felt something for David.
Yes.
Compassion.
Yes.
That no one else had.
Because she was like, well, I can't be that much older than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's like, oddly enough, I feel like you're like a son I could have.
Yeah.
You could be my son. Or a little brother or something like that.
Yeah.
I think she felt for him kind of how she felt for her kids or someone in her family. She always checked up on him. She always made sure he was all right. So, but that's how it ends. And I mean, obviously that's going to lead to the biggest unanswerable question.
Oh yeah. Because John kicks him out of the truck and he's like, hey, there's a bus stop back there.
Yep. And at least he gave him some money.
He gave him some, but he kept most of it for himself.
Some of the fees.
Yeah.
He had apprenticeship fees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm not charging you for the God stuff though.
Yeah. Well, good.
I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm like, thank you so much, Sean. You're such a sweetie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, this movie, it ends with him, a nice fucking shot of his face walking away. And I think we know it's time to move on.
Yeah.
It's time to move on.
He learned what he needed to learn.
Yes, I think he learned some harsh lessons about people, about life, about working.
Because he went into it an atheist.
Yep, he went into it a spoiled, rich atheist who probably never worked a day in his fucking life.
Yes.
And now he's come out someone who's not only worked, but worked in some of the tougher conditions.
Yeah, some of the hardest
hardest jobs you could do that no one wants to do. and you've dealt with people. You're from, he's from Connecticut, but he's probably from what is it, Hartford or whatever.
He says it's where Yale is. I think it might be. It's Connecticut.
It's Connecticut, but what city is Yale in?
Yale is. It might be Hartford. Let's see. It better not be Yale City. I'll be really pissed off. Yale.
Because is Princeton in Trenton?
I thought Princeton was in Princeton, New Jersey.
Oh, is it? Oh,
New Haven.
New Haven.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Princeton. Yeah, you're right. It's in Princeton.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's why I'm like, it better not be in Yale.
Yeah, it's like, where's Harvard? Harvard. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Obviously, no, but
it is in Princeton, New Jersey.
Yeah, Princeton, NJ. Yeah. Oh man.
And now I know Harvard is around Boston, but is it like some other town?
I don't think it's in Boston.
Cambridge.
Yeah,
okay. It is Cambridge because it's right across the bridge from MIT.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, the bridge is right there.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Like to go to either one of them schools would be fucking crazy, dude.
I mean, we visited when we were in Boston,
MIT, dude.
Yeah,
that'd be so sick, bro. You just
you go to FIT.
Studying.
FIT is the Florida Institute of Technology.
I'm not going there.
What? You're pretty fit.
Humid, yeah, but humid weather.
Oh yeah.
The Floridians. I'm like, that's the main.
Well, yeah, Floridians now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not trying to, that weather though. Seriously, I'm not built for that. I'm built for more desert heat, bro.
Really?
Vegas, I was chilling.
Yeah,
chilling in the sun, baking, 100 degrees, no problem. Went to Florida, it was 88 degrees. I thought I was gonna die, bro.
Wow.
I couldn't breathe. I was like, I don't know.
Is it more humid?
Oh my lord, bro! That humidity. Literally, I was sitting under an umbrella with the sun off me, dude. I thought I was gonna sweat through my clothes. Like I was like, I need to leave. I was like, I don't need to be here. I was like, I can't sit outside Florida anymore. Fuck you, Florida. Seriously. But so we don't know where he's gonna go. Is he gonna go back home? Is he gonna go to San Francisco and meet up with homegirl?
Oh yeah,
Is he gonna go somewhere else?
I guess there are a lot of unanswerable questions.
Yeah. There's a lot. So, like I said, I think this movie showed us. I think this movie's about masks and how everyone has one in their back pocket and they can put it on at any time to convenience themselves or others. And I think this movie showed that in a brilliant way through the life of an LGBT guy.
Yeah. Wow, you really liked this movie.
I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah,
I did. And I'm glad. And I went into it like, well, let's see. We'll see. I never even heard of it, so like, we'll see. And I took a lot away from it. I took a lot away from the film. I did. So, call me old-fashioned or whatever. I don't know.
Old-fashioned.
Yep, see? So I took a lot away. So let's get into categories. MVP. I had 3.
You had Jonathon Groff, Corey Stahl, and David O'Hare.
Yep.
What about
Dennis O'Hare?
Dennis O'Hare.
I think I wrote Dennis.
It is Dennis. I'm sorry.
I wrote Dennis.
Yeah, it is Dennis. I apologize, Dennis O'Hare. And the writer-director.
Yes, writer-director. Yes.
Kyle Alexander Alfred.
Yep. Ka.
Because without him...
Yep, this wouldn't happen. So
and obviously without David Sedaris originally writing it.
Yep. Actually, those 5. David Sedaris, Ka, and then the 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yep, those are all. Peak season, it's got to be Dennis O'Hare.
It has to be.
Because he's never had I've never seen him in a big role like this.
And he shined.
He shined. He went hard.
Yeah, he did. He's probably, honestly...
He's the best character. He's the best acted character.
Yeah, because
maybe even the best written character.
Yeah.
Because he's the most complex.
Yeah, because even though Jonathon Groff is great, Corey Stahl is great, he's the guy that, like, the gamut of emotions.
Yes.
The range.
In the range, yes. Because, like, 1 minute he's got you, he does make you laugh.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yo, fuck this dude.
Yeah.
Like, you jump back and forth with your emotions. With him.
And when he's telling you that story, like at the end in the truck.
I was just like,
I
was like, this.
You're a piece of shit.
I was like, this fucking guy.
He and Trump are going to get the Nobel piece of shit prize.
Trump's trying to get the Pulitzer first.
The Pulitzer?
Yeah, he wants it.
The Pulitzer? Why is he? You have to write something for a Pulitzer.
He tweets. That's
the Pulitzer Prize for best tweet goes to or what do they call it? Because it said stupid truth social.
Yeah,
because he does truth.
Yeah.
Or for best truth blurted out or whatever the fuck they call it. Blurbed out.
Yeah, he does right.
Jesus, you were correct. I apologize. Yeah, 140 characters or less. The Pulitzer Prize for best Truth Social post, since you're the only one who posts on Truth Social. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The only time people know that you post is when they retweet it on X. Because nobody does Truth Social.
Yep.
Jesus.
Truth Social.
Wow. Anyway,
all right, best quotes.
Yes, go ahead.
I think religion is for people who aren't smart enough to understand the world.
Yes.
Because I didn't jump into quotes till after we got off the bus. The bus, it was too much.
Oh,
I was like, I'm not throwing bus quotes here.
Wait. There's one really great quote on the bus. I know what the Bible says. Really?
Yep,
What's the problem with it? It's poorly written.
It's poorly written. Yep, I did laugh at that. Yep, I was cracked
the
up.
way he delivers it,
that was a good. Yeah, he was subtly funny. This movie is so subtly funny. All I get is trash and Mexicans. I'll take the Mexicans over the trash any day.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it if you knew what I was saying. Capable of genocide?
Oh yeah, when he's like C.O.G. Yeah. Capable of genocide. Yeah, that makes sense as far as Christianity goes.
You took a detour to come here and fuck me face to face?
Oh.
That's what he said to that chick,
he
bro.
says to his friend, yeah.
Clifford died. Who? The dog? I started cracking. I was like, what the fuck? I will knock that fucking Union rap all the way back to Japan.
Yeah.
I was like, sheesh. Don't mind them. They're just a bunch of hens.
Yeah.
There's nothing I won't try. Nothing. Mostly I just think, look at all those fat dykes.
Oh, yeah. What they're smoking. And he, starts to cough. Because it, catches him off guard.
Yeah, I started cracking up. What's the difference between fancy and extra fancy?
Oh, yeah. And then it just shows me, picks one.
Yeah, he's just like,
all right.
I was like, when they showed I was like, are the yellower ones fancy?
That's what I was like, too. Some are red
and yellow. I was like, if it's more yellow, is that more fancy? I was like, I don't fucking know. Sometimes she's just like a clock. Cuckoo.
That's one of his best lines. The way he does it.
Yes.
When he's talking about his mom.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a boy who needs something to play. That is so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Ugh.
Curly will find each and every one of those crabs and smack the shit out of them. I was like, bro, he got real gay, real fast. I was like, it reminded me of Bros, where I'm like, dude, you totally played me, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah, with the weightlifter.
With the voice, the weightlifter.
He's like, whoa, what the hell?
I was like, whoa.
What happened to your voice?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Don't run away. I just wanted to play some. I didn't get you that raise for nothing.
Ugh.
What? You're going to jail?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going back to Yale.
You're going back to Yale. What? You're going to jail? This line here from David. This was the one line I was like, David, you didn't succeed in your own country. What makes you think you're going to make it here?
Wow, yeah. Oh, yeah. When
after stealing the money.
Yeah.
I was like, he was frustrated.
Yeah, he was frustrated. Like, he was upset.
He didn't mean that. Yeah. He didn't mean that. You already met one of them. Who? Me!
No. Yeah.
I was like, that's all like John was fucking good.
Yeah.
You better hold on to your socks, because I'm about to knock them off.
Yeah.
And then he's like, are your socks still on?
Yeah.
I was like, this motherfucker, bro.
You're right, because he was really energetic about his
craft.
His art. His craft. Yes. You're right.
It's not real wood. I was just pulling your leg.
Oh, yes.
Like, this fucking guy.
Yeah, because he has
it's
prosthetic. Just the one leg.
Yes,
right?
One prosthetic leg. Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus, John. Don't take his name in vain.
And then John starts cussing up a
store. It's like, this guy's the biggest hypocrite of all time.
Yeah.
I met a man, told me I could stand tall without my feet. That man was Jesus Christ. I don't want him screwing up my jade. Like, this guy. Why do you believe in God?
Oh yeah, yeah. When he asked him, he's like, John, why do you believe in God?
And he's basically like, why the fuck you ask me stupid ass questions like that?
And that's actually around the time that he ends up dropping the jade.
Yes, that was that scene when he dropped the jade.
And that's probably why he was more pissed off, because he asked him a question that he either doesn't want to think about, or doesn't think that it's a legitimate question.
It's a legitimate question. I think it's a combo of both.
Yeah,
because I think John was schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Like, for real, I'm like, I think this guy's schizophrenic, and he's obviously not on meds.
Yeah,
he's drinking. I know he was drinking, bro. You didn't see him drink, don't mean he wasn't. You want me to live in a beauty salon? What kind of Christians are you?
Yeah.
Not everyone needs religion to be happy. Don't be so jaded, Sam. Because of the jade. And he starts laughing. He's like, what's funny? He's like, because never mind, bro.
Yeah.
You're searching for something that's right beneath your little nose, which is basically Christ.
Yeah.
We can't do this, Curly. I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And we're laughing at it.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it wasn't funny.
No,
I was like, yo,
this
is not. I was like, this was me watching this. I was like, what's about to happen here, bro? I don't want to see nothing now. I was like, do not put your disgusting prick in this boy's little butthole. I was like, you nasty boy. God will let you into his family. All you have to do is turn away from sin. Please, let me get married soon to a woman and have children. I was like, bro, you ain't never said nothing you didn't believe so much in your whole life, bro. C.O.G, child of God.
Yeah.
Someone ought to beat the shit out of her, bitch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, John.
Yeah.
Make something people need, idiot. I'm like, all right, bro.
Yeah. After he shows
the joints, I was like,
you're
talking real, not Christian, like.
Yeah. Like that's when he's taking like a downhill.
Yeah,
turn.
I think at that point he's starting to sip, because I think being in God damn it, I forget Meredith. Martha. I was like, how the fuck I forget her name? I think being in Martha's house kept him sober.
Yeah.
And him getting out of Martha's house didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, he fell off the wagon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's thank Jesus for giving us the beans. Go on. Thank him.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, God.
Yeah, for coffee.
All right. Let's cool it. Yeah, that's a little much, bro.
You know, sometimes I have residents that are like, thank you, Jesus. I'm like, he wasn't here. I was. Why are you thanking me?
I wiped your ass.
Yeah.
Shit. That's why you sitting and shit no more. Yeah. My face.
You relied on this guy. He's not even around. He left. I read the Bible.
I read it. It's time for you to buy a clock made of jade. That's what time it is. All money is the same in the eyes of the Lord. I'm as sick as they come. That's what Sam or David said back to him.
Well,
like,
it is Sam.
Because
he knows him.
Yeah, he knows him, Sam.
Yeah, I'm as sick as they come. Yeah.
I think this was one of the best lines in the film. And it's spit by John. You're not a good boy. You're not even a good girl.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. I was like, whoa, this guy is evil.
He is.
This is also another great line spit by John. And listen, it's just a good line written in what this is about. I don't
and how he acts.
Yes, I don't agree with what this
delivers it.
And I'm just going ahead and say it. Don't be offended. I don't typically use this word, but I think I have to use it in to get context. My point across. Yeah, Christians are users. Christians are takers. But Christians ain't faggots.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And in that moment showed me a lot of things about John and about his beliefs. John knows Christianity's a sham.
Yes.
John, listen, and that's not me saying it's a sham. If that's what you believe, it's totally fine, totally cool. But he knows that this is John understands what religion is and how people use it to their own advantage.
Yeah.
More so, not saying it's a sham. That's wrong. Let me take that back. I'm not saying it's a sham. John knows how it can be a sham.
Yes.
That's more what I mean.
Because he was using people through being
left
Christian.
and right. Yeah. I was like, left and right, he's using people.
Yeah.
He used Sam. He used Martha. He used everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't try and, you know what I mean? So that's what I got for quotes.
Yeah, and that's good.
I think I got
you did a really good job.
Yeah.
I think that one about like when David / Sam says, "I'm as sick as they come."
Yeah, that one was good too.
It's interesting because we may have talked about this before with some other film, but there's a story in the Old Testament about Jacob wrestling like the angel or God, depending on how you interpret the passage. And it's after he lied to everybody for like decades about who he was. And he's wrestling this angel, and the angel does something to his hip, and he's in pain, and he's losing, and he has to say who he is. And once he says who he is, suddenly the burden of all of his lies and all of his guilt is lifted.
Lift off him, and he gets up and wins.
And I think,
nice.
And I think that's like David's moment there when he says, "I'm as sick as they come." It's him finally admitting who he is.
Yep.
So he's able, because you notice when he's walking at the end,
He smells.
a smirk kind of goes on his face because he probably realizes
He's like, I'm fucking free now.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah, because he was shackled by the expectations of others and all that shit.
You don't want to live your life like that. Like, you want to be yourself in your life, man. Like,
so admitting that freed him
felt good, man,
from all that.
Absolutely.
So maybe like after that, in our minds, like he called his life. He reconciled everything because now everything was reconciled within him.
Inside, And that's why I think he needed this experience, meeting John, meeting Curly, meeting these people, getting to see a different side of the world, meeting these immigrants, these field workers.
Yeah.
I think he needed to meet all these people in order to help him actually get a real perspective on the world instead of his sheltered Yale view of it.
Yes.
And
his like liberal arts education has the world look one way, but reality is
totally different.
Because like if you have like an incredibly right-wing education, it wouldn't look the same as reality anyway either. So it's not just one or the other. It's kind of like both. You're sheltered from actual people and actual real situations.
It's literally, you can make the fucking coin flip of this movie, take a conservative guy from where he was at in this movie and put him in New York City.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And have a fucking dude who grew up in a town of 7,000 people go to a town with 5 million.
Yeah.
You know, so have him do that. And he's going to learn and meet people he never thought he'd meet in his fucking life. And
I think you just wrote a really good film.
I might have just wrote the reverse. There we go. Yep, right there.
Yeah.
We just made the reverse. Seriously. And it will be interesting to see how, that would shape him. But all right, so what's age the best? I had nothing. Because the only thing I think age the best is maybe finding yourself, but
you're right, because everything in the film is about
all the ideologies, none of it.
Yeah, it's about all the terrible things that actually ended up empowering him.
Yes.
So you're right, finding yourself like being able to still be empowered in spite of everything that's against you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
everyone kicked him.
Yeah. But he was resilient.
He was very, very.
Yeah.
And I don't think and he was a lot stronger than I think people realize.
Yeah.
What's age the worst?
Well,
I had a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
feeding cows to themselves.
Oh yeah, that
roast beef. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, stupid fucking cows. Like, I was like, this is how you know this guy has never been.
And that's before he met Curly.
Yep.
So that's during the time of the film where you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
going on?
Still very yes. I'm like, yes. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Mocking other races.
Yes.
Treatment of my immigrants. As hired hands.
Yeah.
Christianity being homophobic.
Yes.
So, yeah. And just treating people like shit.
Yeah.
You got any more?
Well, I think actually you got them all, really, because that encompasses all the shit in the film. But like Christianity being homophobic never makes much sense since Jesus took 12 guys away from their wives and their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
to go hang out.
Yeah, Let's follow this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He hooked us with his worm because he's a fisher of men. It's like, what? But it's not gay.
It's not gay.
It is not fucking gay.
Not at all.
It is not gay.
Nothing about it.
I love watching football where guys shower together.
Yep.
They're tight ends. They're wide receivers.
Tight ends and wide receivers.
They're super fucking jacked,
Yep.
and they shower together, but it's not gay at all. It's like, what? Wrestling is not gay at all. He's sticking his crotch in his face.
Yep. I'm grabbing him as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And we're sweating on each other.
Yeah.
And I put him on the ground. And I pinned him down.
Yeah.
And I looked him dead in his eye and I said, and it wasn't gay.
Smooch.
Yep, it was not gay at all.
You like boop him on the nose. You know, it's like, yeah, UFC.
Yeah.
That is not gay.
At least they're striking and not so much. I mean, obviously there's wrestling involved, but at least you don't have to grab them.
Yeah, that's true.
In wrestling, you ain't winning without grabbing this dude hard and tight.
Yeah, but I wish people would just accept, like, there are things that could be iffy.
Yeah.
And okay, and it's okay if it's iffy. Don't be like, this is the most masculine thing.
Yeah, I'm like, bro.
Don't tell me like Donald Trump is masculine.
Yeah.
Wearing a catheter and a diaper. And, don't tell me that kind of bullshit, because that is not masculine.
And don't tell me that a gay dude is super fruity who hangs with hot chicks all day.
Yeah,
This guy's hanging with fucking baddies, bro.
Yeah,
he got 5 bad chicks with him, man. I want to be where he's at.
Yeah, so like, come on.
Yeah, but
it's, I don't know. Anyway.
People are.
Yeah, that's true. I just had to bitch and moan.
Of course. Most rewatchable scenes. When he bites the pesticides apple.
Honestly, I think the bus scene, in a way, because it sets
everything up.
His worldview.
It shows you who he is. Yes. So I'm like, but once it got into it, that was kind of weird to me at first. I was like, it makes sense. So that's why I was like, it makes sense. When he bites pesticides, when he meets Curly.
Yes.
When Curly invites him to his house.
Cuckoo.
Yeah. When he meets up with John. When John freaks out about the jade.
Yes.
When Curly comes to the beauty salon.
Yes.
When he gives himself to Jesus.
Yes.
The trade show. And when John tells him the story at the end.
Yes.
Which is pretty much the whole film. That's pretty much all the high. If someone was like, I need to watch this movie in 40 minutes, there you go.
Yeah, those are the highlights, definitely. Because, like, there's I'm trying to think of any other scenes, because
I mean, maybe the scene where he first meets John on the streets.
Yeah, maybe, because that kind of sets up. Because that even sets up the title.
The title, yeah.
Because he won't tell him. Because, like you said in quotes, like capable of genocide. And it's like, it should be. If it's not, it very well should be.
Shit, it's about to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe that's why he said it, because of like the way the world is.
And all these weirdly relevant films. Best characters. David, yep.
Yeah.
I actually wrote Sam, I wrote David. Worst characters, Curly and John.
Yes.
No question.
I don't know, Martha might be one of the best.
I was literally going to say there's a case we made for Martha to be put in best. Hobbs could go in best and worst.
Yeah, because
he's a dick, but he also is way nicer than some of these people that anyone else is going to be.
He is.
Like, he is, in a weird way, he is providing something for these folks. So it's like, but he is an asshole still.
Yeah.
So that could be argued. Nitpicks. I just, for a guy as smart as David was, I don't know how he couldn't just, obviously at first he saw through it, but I don't know how he let himself get blinded by the light.
I think he
wanted to accept something, wanted to let his guard down, but come on, man, you know where you at.
But it almost seems like he was haunted by whatever we didn't see happen between him and his family.
His family, yeah.
And I think the reason that he knew what would happen with his friend and that guy is because David Sedaris has older sisters.
Mm-hmm.
He has older sisters. I think Amy might be a younger sister, if I'm not mistaken. So, but he has older sisters, so he knows what happens with those types of relationships. I mean, they don't say it, but if you know who he is, you can kind of infer from the story. And whatever happened with his family, you don't know. So it's like his internal struggle is probably what made him more vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And to be susceptible, which is what, I hate to say, but it's what religion really does.
Yes, absolutely.
Because listen to these stupid TV preachers all the time, like saying all this bullshit. And I hear it so much because people have like the Billy Graham network on at work.
I work all day.
And it's like,
I'm like, I know you hear that shit at work.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God. And it's only because a lot of it doesn't make any sense in context to like reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand if you look at something and you're like, yeah, you should treat others as you want to be treated. You know, stuff like that makes total sense.
Those are basic human instincts.
Yeah.
Born with, though. Like,
but if like they try to use a book that people wholeheartedly believe in to disparage other people, I hate it.
Yep.
But then I end up disparaging that book to the people that love it, so I'm just as terrible.
Just as bad.
Yeah, it's horrible.
All evil are sinners.
Yeah, and I feel so terrible about it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I believe July 4th, Sinners is going to be on Max.
Damn, Max.
July 4th.
Everybody gonna be watching it.
Yeah.
Everybody it's gonna really blow up then, bro.
Yeah, as if it hasn't already.
Yeah, it's really, because people are like, oh, that's free. So I already paid for that. All right, recasting couch. David Sam.
This is a tough one. I was trying to think. Tough. And I'm like, what about like either the kid who played like Evan Hansen in that movie, Evan Hansen?
I only ever seen Evan Hansen.
Okay. I forget. I don't know who it is. Or like Chris Colfer. He was a kid from Glee who's a writer.
Oh, okay.
Actually now. Because I was thinking he's written some books. Cora used to read them.
Okay.
But I know since David Sedaris is a writer, having a gay actor who's also a writer, they might really be able to get into that mindset more.
I went for a straight guy.
Did you?
Logan Lerman.
God, Logan Lerman. Well, look, after the Perks,
I was like, I wanted some. He just, even though he wasn't gay, he reminded me of David.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I think Logan Lerman, he's still acting.
Yeah.
But I think he should be bigger than he is.
He should be much bigger.
Yes.
He's good.
Yeah, because he was on a CW show when he was younger called, I think, Jack and Bobby. Where this kid, like, played his older brother. I forget if he was Jack or Bobby. Probably Bobby because he was the younger brother. Yeah. But that was like pre-Percy Jackson.
Okay.
So pre-Perks. But
pre-Perks.
But yeah, you know what? I could see that, especially if he is the way that he was in Perks.
Yeah.
Or, like Ezra Miller.
If he wasn't going through
blacklisted.
Of course, I thought of him too.
Yeah, because Ezra Miller needs more love.
He's incredible, man.
Yeah.
He's so good. People just don't even realize. But
yeah.
So
I had trouble with like Curly and even John.
I had trouble with both of them, but I did get someone.
Okay.
Who'd you got for Curly?
I couldn't think of anybody. I figure I'll just spitball when you tell me.
Ben Foster.
Oh, from your movie, Hell or High Water, right?
Yes.
And he was Angel in X3.
Yes.
And he was in the Punisher movie, the Tom Jane Punisher movie. Now, would he be too short?
That was my only fucking issue.
Yeah.
I was like, I want his vibe, his energy, his look, but he's like probably 5'9" or 10.
Yeah. What about someone like Tom Jane or somebody? Because since he's taller, he's kind of bigger.
And you know who I really wanted, but I just think he was too old? I wanted David Harbour.
David Harbour, believe it or not, I mean, he's like my age, I think.
Yeah, but he looks way older.
He does look way older. But he would probably be able to add something.
Oh, he would kill the role.
Oh my God, yeah.
And he's got this size I want.
Yeah, you know what? Why not David Harbour?
David Harbour then. Let's do it.
You're hitting it out of the ballpark here.
Yeah, I like David Harbour.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, if Ben Foster was a little taller though.
Because he could bring that
hold on. What about our mans? What about Tom Hiddleston?
Is he too skinny? Or wait, do you mean for David?
No. He's too old to play David. For fucking Curly.
He's like too
You think he's too thin?
Yeah, he's too svelte.
All right.
Because
David Harbour.
Because you want to think that Curly is able to overpower David.
Low-key, he's a tall dude, though.
So low-key, he could probably do it.
Low-key could do it. I like David Harbour. David Harbour.
Because it's almost like I would think like Chris Hemsworth before Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Just because...
He's too good looking.
Well, he is, but I mean, just like size-wise.
Yeah, size-wise.
You know.
Man, he's like too big. Too jacked.
Well,
he's just too everything.
He was super jacked in like Love and Thunder.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We'll go with David Harbour.
Because I like that because I'm thinking of his energy from Thunderbolts.
Yes. That's what I talk about.
Yeah.
He was fucking great, bro. He was great. Shave his beard, cut his hair down. Yeah.
He'd be incredible.
He would be good. And like, dude, he's in Brokeback, he plays a little closeted. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I was like, that's good.
And I still think of him as Hopper from like Stranger Things.
Oh my God, of course.
And like he can do those he can be funny, he can be serious, dramatic.
Yeah, he got it all. Action.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever watch Violent Night?
No, when he's Santa.
Dude, he's bad, bro. He's badass, bro.
I loved him as Hellboy.
He's bad. You gotta watch this Christmas. You gotta watch Violent Night. He's badass. All right, for John, who'd you have?
Dude, I was thinking like Willem Dafoe.
I actually love that. He's just too old.
I know. That's the only problem.
I was like,
but I'm like, he could really
10 years ago.
But he could really like knock that out of the ballpark. He would
kill this role. God.
Yeah, because I was thinking of him from like from the Florida Project. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of him from all kinds of stuff where he could play it. God, I want Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Because who's to say John can't be a little older?
A little bit older.
Yeah.
It's just, I kind of want Willem Dafoe now.
Because I think he would be able to like really nail those like really crazy parts.
God.
Like be even crazier than
I don't care how old he is. That's who we're getting.
Yeah.
The dude works hard.
Yeah.
We'll dye a little bit of his hair. We can make him look a little bit younger.
Yeah.
I like that. I had Josh Brolin, but he's just too masculine and macho.
I think. He is, because
that was my problem.
I think what you said earlier about John makes sense. Like he because he's an older vet, he's obviously not like built, but he could still fuck you up because of his training.
His training, yes.
Yeah.
And Willem Dafoe has that kind of vibe.
Yeah. And he was in Platoon.
That. Yeah.
So in a way, it could almost be like a sequel.
It's a comeback for him.
Sequel.
He's like, this is what happened to him. Well, he dies. But I was like, I'm sorry, guys. If you haven't seen Platoon, sorry.
But then again, it's almost 40 years ago.
It is old as fuck, bro. Yeah. Fucking Charlie Sheen's in it.
It's like 38 years ago.
Yeah. Dude, Johnny Depp's in that movie before he was Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Before 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, dude. Like,
post Nightmare on Elm Street.
That was right after that.
After.
I feel bad. I'm like, because Platoon is tough in the movie. You don't want to tell someone what I just said, but whatever.
Yeah.
I like Willem, actually. God, he's perfect. You get that one. Yeah. Platoon.
Man. That's on the movie poster, though.
I think
that is Defoe.
It is on the movie poster. It is Defoe. But is that Stone? Oliver Stone?
Yeah, Oliver Stone, man.
Yeah, so I was like,
it's based on his own experiences, I believe.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I believe so.
Which makes sense why he did so many military movies.
Yeah.
All right. Director.
This was a toughie, because it's like, how do you find someone who can
hit that kind of side?
Yeah.
But I went with the guy who captures small towns so well.
Oh my God, Sean Baker.
Yeah,
and you know what? You know what? I think Sean Baker, especially because of the subject matter, because everything you've had me watch of his.
Oh, he loves gay people.
Yeah. and like kind of shining a light on that part of society that most people
don't
shun away from.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah, Sean Baker is the only one.
All right. Bet. So who are we going with for David?
I actually like Logan.
Like Logan? I like him too. Let's go with
I want him to be a bigger actor than he is.
Me too.
Because he has the talent.
So we got Logan Lerman for David. For Curly, we said
David Harbour.
And for John, Willem Dafoe and Sean Baker. That'd be a great film. Man.
That would be.
That'd be a great film.
That's a great cast.
Hell yeah.
Because Logan Lerman's got to be in his like early 30s now.
I think he's 31 or 2.
Yeah, so he's a good age for that too.
Perfect age for it. He still looks young.
Yeah.
So, that's good. Unanswered question. Where does Sam or David end up?
Yeah, and what happened to his friend?
What happened to his friend? what I think what he said was going to happen happened. They'll be together for a while. He'll drop her.
And does John go into like a downward spiral?
I think so.
Because like you said, he's obviously drinking again.
I think John dies within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Yep. I think he drinks self to death.
And even Curly, like, does Curly find happiness?
No.
Because he's
stuck in this
kind of miserable
where no one's like him.
I think the problem that David/Sam had was like, out of all these toys, I don't know which one was molded from his own thing.
Yeah.
So if it's that one, he better not come near me.
Don't come near me. Oh, God. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I think that was his big issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Because any of these, the ones sticking on the wall,
yeah,
whatever, it could be.
Oh, is your mom coming in this room?
She's probably, they're probably hand-me-downs.
Oh. Say. Pure album, though.
If she has Parkinson's, that's a way to turn any one of them into a vibrator. You knew that was coming.
This guy.
That's what she said.
That is what she said.
I knew it was coming.
This is a great segue. Propping off from the movie. I'm guessing you wanted one of the toys?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. The Yale sweater.
That's a good prop. I went with one of his boxes.
The jade boxes.
Yeah.
You didn't want a jade clock of Oregon?
I didn't want an Oregon clock, bro.
You know what time it is?
Fucking been to Oregon, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to go.
You know what time it is?
Time for you to buy a Oregon clock made out of jade. That's what time it is. I'm like, you want me to buy a pure jade slab with arrows on it? Awesome.
Fantastic.
So I'll tell y'all what I gave this film on Letterboxd. I gave it a 4.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Wow.
Because as you can see, if you listen to this whole thing, I clearly took a lot away from it.
Yeah.
And
4.5, is that like a 95?
That would be like a 9.2 to 5.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where we're at with that. So I actually really enjoyed this film.
Can I read what you wrote on Letterboxd?
Sure.
Do you mind?
What I wrote on Letterboxd.
Because now that I have your permission, I can do it.
I was going to take you to civil court.
Yeah. All right. Watched for Pride Month. Wait, this is Ralph Bader.
Yep, Ralph Bader.
On Letterboxd. Watched for Pride Month. Saw all the scores and reviews. For the life of me, I don't know how this has a 2.8. Yeah, the beginning is a little shaky, but this thing picks up nicely and shows us the ugliness underneath a certain mask people like to wear. The mask that you often see in a small town. I do urge everyone to at least give it a chance.
Yeah.
I love, when I read that, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while, I know a movie affects you.
It does.
In a way. And I think this is one of those movies.
This is one of them.
Yeah.
Which
it's not a Sinners or
a Sinners or a Substance.
But it's like
it's probably more important. Yeah, because I'm like, I mean, of course, Sinners is important because it's.
Oh yeah. Sinners is important for a totally different thing.
For a cultural thing, but Sinners is still a made up story.
Yeah,
and same with the Substance. Whereas obviously that's a whole different type of culture, but still a cultural thing. Where this is like. This can happen to any everyday people. This can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter what culture you're a part of.
Yes,
because there's gay. That's why I say LGBT stories are some of the best because there's everybody in them.
Yeah,
there's black people, white people.
It's relatable to everybody.
It's relatable to everybody. Like and LGBT stories can be so layered because of the different types of people in said community and how many different types of. Are you trans? Are you gay? Are you lesbian? Are you bisexual? Pansexual? Do you? All this shit, black and white, Asian, you know what I mean?
That's what made Bros kind of so great is everybody was represented. All the alphabet soup, let's say, was represented and all different colors and shades and everything.
That's what I'm like, so that's why I love LGBT stories. So great. What you got?
I would give it definitely at least a 95.
I'm giving it a 95.
Yeah.
That's my grade.
Yeah.
I suggest you guys watch this month. I know we just told you the whole fucking thing because no one's seen this shit. No one's seen it.
And they probably never read the story.
The damn story. I'm like, people need to see this film. So I'm going to try and push this one out. And
if you have to kind of dip your toes in the pool, David Sedaris has a book called Me Talk Pretty One Day. And it's short stories, incredible.
Okay.
It's a really good introduction to his style and who he is as an author. And Me Talk Pretty One Day is about that story he would talk with a lisp when he was younger, and they tried to get him to lose it.
Oh no,
it's incredible.
We know what that's from.
Yeah. It's a really great. Like his writing style is so relatable, and there's so much heart and humor in it. It's great.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So, although this C.O.G. is in the book Naked, as we said earlier.
That's right. Get naked.
Page 153 in Naked. So,
all right, guys. Well, A's across the board. Yeah. So finally, Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's next week. Fantastic.
Yeah, we're getting on the comedy train again.
And believe it or not, by the time we do it next week, it'll be released after that, but it'll actually have been like the 36th anniversary of Weekend at Bernie's.
Man.
Yeah.
Oldie but goodie.
Oh man, I love it.
I know. All right, yeah. We'll let you take that one. All right, guys. I am Dom.
I am Jamie.
It's the Cover and Floor.